Welcome everybody to High and Low, a podcast about talking picture shows.
We do films that are corny, and some that are horny, and some that win Academy Awards.
Doing all kind of movies from all kind of genres, serving hot takes like plates of lasagna.
Before we get going, a warning to you. You might hear some talk that's a little blue.
We sometimes cuss and we sometimes curse. We like to do it off the cuff and don't rehearse.
Now if this sounds like your kind of show,
Tune in,
Drop out.
This is High and Low.
Howdy, folks. Lock up your daughters and shoot your sons. Welcome to the rootinest, tootinest episode of High and Low podcast to date. High and Low going country today, boys. Woo-hoo! For this episode, we got ourselves one darn fine motion picture and one lousy piece of shit talkie I wouldn't watch again for all the gold in California. First up in the saddle for our high portion, we got Bloody Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch from 1969. Taking up the rear on the wagon train on the low, and I'm talking lower than a rattlesnake's belly. It's Frank Coraci's 2015 modern-day yellow-belly, egg-sucking Netflix Western starring everybody's favorite commercial snake oil salesman, Adam Sandler, The Ridiculous Six. I'm Josh Young, subbing in for that egg-sucking gutter trash we know as Von Gonziola, and I'm joined by two wonderful, lovable, redneck Peckerwood sons of bitches, Mitchell McIsaac.
Sure am happy to be here and eating them beans with you fellers here today. I always wanted to.
And finally Luke Slowbud.
Good evening.
You're adding the gunshots in post-production, right?
Oh yeah, we gotta.
That's one of the things this movie's famous for, is Peckinpah put all new gunshot sounds in it.
Every gun had its own distinct shot noise. According to myth, Warner Brothers only had one stock footage for any gun fucking ever up until 1969, where Sam Peckinpah said the movie would not be complete if it didn't have distinct sound effects for its for the guns.
He was onto something. It's like Michael Mann ahead of time.
I need a ricocheting bullet sound. I need a shot from a Colt single-action army. I need a shot from an Edison machine gun or whatever.
Edison?
Yeah.
Didn't he invent the Gatling gun?
I'm no history buff, but I think I read that somewhere.
Clearly.
I saw it on YouTube.
I love the idea of Foley work people and sound effect people. And Friedkin talks about that at length in his autobiography.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Working on some movie, I can't remember what. These are the gun sounds. These are good enough. Like, use these. We've been using them for 30 years. This fucking shit. We've been using this for 30 fucking years. Get new sounds. We can do better.
Immediately elevate the craft by 25% just by recording a couple new gunshots going off.
Yeah, that's the difference between a movie that has effort and craft put into it and a slapdash lazy piece of shit like the second movie we're going to be talking about today.
Just look at what a difference people who care about lighting and stuff like that make on a movie.
My partner and I, we were actually staying in Puerto Vallarta where they shot The Predator.
Oh.
Predator.
Did they shoot RoboWar there? Did you go visit all the RoboWar sites?
I did not know. Sadly, I don't know where that film was shot.
Here's where Omega 1 stood and went targeting.
We ain't talk about that. God damn it, anyhow.
What the hell is a robot?
What the heck is a robot? For the low portion, and I do mean fucking low, I've been avoiding The Ridiculous Six since The Hateful Eight came out because they were both released around the same time. And it has always piqued my curiosity in terms of its awfulness and like just what you hear about it. And boy, did all my worst fears come true. I was saying I felt lost watching that fucking movie, man.
I felt like depressed. Yeah, it affected me. Like it left a scar on my soul.
I don't typically say this for most movies, but it's like, holy fuck, I'll never get that time back.
It's so soulless. Like I saw some TikTok today, and it was like a picture of like an AI Jesus. He's standing next to these American soldier girls, and this guy reads off all the Facebook comments. Amen. What a beautiful picture. What beautiful girls. You girls, thank you girls for your service. And it's like the way it insults the audience and assumes that they would actually like think this is a movie or think that that art is like a real picture of soldiers next to Jesus makes you feel like maybe everybody is just so willing and able to accept absolute dog shit.
His pants came down. I seen his ass crack. And that's insert joke 1A.
Adam Sandler's worked with most of these guys before and made better films. I don't know if your guys' feelings on The Wedding Singer, which I think is like probably one of his best movies, but it was made by the same writers, Tim Harley, who used to write for SNL.
I don't think any of those movies are good anymore. but at least those movies, they were like trying something. Like they weren't deliberately insulting their audience. They weren't really thinking they could pull one over on you and wasting your fucking time in that way.
You're 100% correct. And it's like, how far have we fallen, and how much of this is one big fucking commercial this kind of all is. He's pretty much repping the Golden Nugget Casino. At one point, like he's repping an entire casino.
Let me drink some of that Coke while I rep this classic tonic
It goes
water.
to show like how much he's been like a commercial salesman since Happy Gilmore, since he was repping fucking Subway.
Yeah.
That was in 1995.
Oh, yeah.
Way back. And it
Popeye's
continues-
chicken's fucking delicious.
Yeah, he got fucking
Little
Pacino
Nicky.
to do a fucking
Oh, the
dance
Dunkin'
for the
Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. Dunkachino.
Dunkachino.
People say that's funny. I like want to die when I hear about
Yeah,
it.
and
It's just so transparently pro-corporate, contractually mandated art.
But it's not art. Never those twain should meet.
No,
I
unless
think
you're
I-
Adam Sandler.
I believe I was texting both of you guys because I was just filled with regret. Because I wanted to pick something high, like, and something fucking good, like the Wild Bunch, and then pick something even low. And it was going to be this or like a fucking Chris Kattan
Yeah.
Western, which
I guarantee that would be better than this.
Chris Kattan does pop
he
up
does, and
in
he
the
does show up
Ridiculous
as
Six.
fucking John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
One of the few highlights of this movie, I thought. But you guys want to just jump into the Wild Bunch?
Let's do it.
Fucking great movie. Sam Peckinpah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not too familiar with Westerns, especially not Peckinpah. I've only seen like Pat Garrett.
This is actually my first Peckinpah. He's been a guy who's been on the list for a long time. He's
You guys,
got
you mean you never saw Convoy?
No.
It was one of his last major motion pictures that he made.
Is that where the song comes from?
I'm pretty sure Convoy, yeah.
We got a great big convoy. Just the king of dad filmmakers, right? Dads. These movies are for dads.
Unless you're a pervert and into straw dogs.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of Peckinpah's movies. Out of the three of us here, I'm kind of the most well versed in it. And yeah, that's pretty much like out and out pervy rape picture. John Wayne once said The Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah's 1969 film The Wild Bunch, killed the fucking myth of the Old West. When this movie came out, it was polarizing. Didn't make
John Wayne was such a crybaby bitch.
Yeah, I know. Marion. I'm taking abuse over a guy named Marion.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Marion Morrison, and then insisted that everyone call him Duke. That being said,
He was the classic Western man.
that being
This is
said, I
like-
love Rio Bravo.
He played one on TV.
Yeah.
He was not the classic
he was a hero on
Western man.
TV.
Everyone knows in the actual Old West, an old white guy went to cross the river and saved the woman from the Indian tribe.
And or Mexicans.
Yeah.
Right, one of the two. Everyone was wearing a black hat and he wore the white one. Anything after this, anything Clint Eastwood did.
All the anti-Westerns. Yeah. All
like
the
Outlaw Josie
Sergio
Wales,
Leones
High
and
Plains Drifter,
Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Yeah. That's one of the last great, the new Westerns. He wanted to show how it was like living in the West at a time where it's the end of the Old West. The myths are dying. The arrival of the automobile is upon us.
There are cars. And
Right?
things
There's nowhere
like
left
that.
to go anymore. There's no hideouts anymore for these old-timey cowboys that have just made a career out of robbing and stealing. It's fucking... the trap's coming shut on these guys.
There's machine guns now.
Yeah. How do you face down a fucking Gatling gun?
One of the Django movies with Frank Nero playing Django. They just get like a giant machine gun in one of those movies. Just like, I think there's a 5-minute scene of them mowing down
Which they
a group
probably
of people.
ripped from fucking, fucking Sam Peckinpah.
I will better the instruction. The classic Italian motto. We're gonna take your exploitation movie and
Further exploited.
Yeah.
Peckinpah really wanted to not subvert the myths, but really make them come unglued about what we thought of Old West heroes and how they're more ambiguous than we were led to believe. With guys like fucking John Wayne's
Right.
wearing the white hats, right? It wasn't really like that.
you definitely get that right in the first scene because you've got the Wild Bunch guys riding into town. A really cool opening credit scene. It's flashing to these black and white title cards and ooh, Ernest Borgnine. He's in the
Not a cab driver. Or a Viking.
Fucking A, though. Borgnine's back. Josh is back. That's the rule.
resident Borgnine expert.
Prolific masturbator. Josh is is a prolific masturbator, so is Borgie.
But yeah, opens up with
Stylish opening credits.
Yeah.
We get some of them on people's faces in the freeze frame, and then we see like kids playing with scorpions or dropping them into like some fire ants or something.
yeah.
These were the days before the internet, so you only could do so many things to entertain yourselves. One of them was feeding scorpions to ants.
In 1913.
Yeah. One of them was going to a temperance meeting and hearing an old preacher rail against wine.
Yeah.
In less than a decade, you'll have full-on fucking prohibition across the entire country, which is fucking amazing. It started with little unions in
got
these
their
fucking
way.
podunk towns in South Texas.
And to be
Didn't
fair,
happen overnight.
and back then it was like every guy was coming home having drinking 2 quarts of whiskey and just smashing his entire house up. It's like that looked a lot better for the women's temperance movement.
I can understand it from the women's perspective,
Yeah.
especially. So William Holden is the lead, and
He's Pike.
I think
Pike.
third build is we get Warren Oates, and it's like freezes on a little girl. I was like, pretty sure that's not
They
Warren
just
Oates'
gave up
craggy
on
face.
Ernest Borgnine got his own face.
Here's some names, here's some faces. Figure it out.
Robert Ryan, apparently, he was pissing and moaning at Sam Peckinpah for not getting top billing in this film, or not being the lead in this film. When it freezes on his name, it's on a bunch of horses' asses as they're walking by.
Oh, really?
Which Peckinpah did on purpose.
Genius.
This is kind of a fucking raging prick Peckinpah is. When he wasn't fighting with the cast to get what he wanted out of them, he was fighting with the crew and firing them for little bit fuck-ups here and there and drinking like crazy. Even for his time, this guy was like partially getting canceled and blacklisted in Hollywood for being as fucking crazy as he was.
Okay, which guy is Robert Ryan?
Deke, the guy that's hunting
Yeah,
him.
the bounty hunter
okay.
leader.
Well, yeah, he used to ride with Pike, and the railroad guy hires him.
And
to
they
help.
look almost identical between them. The
Yeah,
leader of
yeah.
one group, and they're both like the old white man with the pencil thin mustache kind of thing.
Deke's his old running buddy, and remember they have the flashback where he gets busted.
Yes.
Pike jumps out of a fucking third-story whorehouse window. He's like, he's the best. He's never been caught.
Yeah.
He would say to him.
Right off the bat, they're showing you who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. You've got the Wild Bunch guys wearing their uniforms.
Ah, but that's the trick, Mitchell. There's no good guys.
There's no good guys.
Everyone's a raging fucking asshole left to right.
Yeah.
Even the kids, they're feeding fucking scorpions to fire ants, children, and laughing about it.
It is dark.
It's dark. It's
I mean,
a fucking
that's
mean
normal
picture.
kid stuff, but there was intention behind showing that.
Yeah. They're coming up in this little town during a temperance union gathering, celebration, parade, if you will.
Right as they're robbing the bank, the Temperance League is like, why don't we have a parade now? Right in front of the bank. We'll go between the bank and the roof of this other building.
But Deke and his crew, who has been hired by this fucking asshole guy that runs the railroad or helps run the railroad, they're all lying in wait for Pike and the bunch to show up. And it's fucking crazy because they show up and they've spent untold amount of money back in 1913 to steal all this army gear to pose as a regular army to go into this bank to get a payload. But it's interesting too because they're rolling in deep. There's by the end of the film, there's 5 guys.
Half of them
Six.
about die in this sequence.
Pike, Borgnine,
Angel,
but they got to be rolling in like at least like 12 deep.
they got some untested people here.
The sharp eyes of the Mexican known as Angel. Eagle scouted the guns on the roof, and he's like, "We're fucking hitched, boys." And
He saw Deke and his posse
Yeah,
across
up on the
way.
roof.
There's a couple hillbillies in his posse. They're a source of good amusement throughout the movie. They'll be like stripping bodies clean. And like, I want his boots. And it's like, okay, these are the good guys, I guess.
everyone's a raging fucking asshole in this. Drinking, boozing, whoring, and fucking being generally mean.
Ah, hell,
Even to
what's
each
wrong
other.
with robbing corpses? They don't need it.
It's commonplace.
Man, I wish we lived in the Old West.
No, you don't. No, you fucking don't.
I get his ring, Josh.
We were saying earlier, it was kind of like just one big camping trip.
Yeah, exactly.
With your buds, we got guns, we got alcohol, like
Robbing graves, throwing back moonshine.
Potentially we'll have a bath one day.
Every third week, maybe.
man, I do that for fun anyway, as it is. Like,
Exactly.
One of the last freeze frames for the credits is Pike uttering the line, "If anyone moves, kill him." Halts full stop in a freeze frame, directed by Sam Peckinpah. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's get it on. And then they proceed to hold the bank up, and then Angel fucking spots the dudes. Pike, with his quick thinking, leaves one of the guys. He's called Crazy Lee, and the guy's like,
if we slip out the back, it's covered, you 2-bit redneck peckerwoods.
yeah, up on the top. But like Crazy Lee's like, he's like, "Do we kill everybody in the bank now?" And he's like, no, you hold them until we get out of here. He's like, "I'll hold them until hell freezes over, until you say so." They're abandoning this dude, and he fucking knows it. And Crazy Lee doesn't give a shit. He knows he's going to get fucking wrecked here in the next 10 minutes.
He might be too simple to fully realize the ramifications of what's happening.
Yeah, and he not even just, simple, maybe.
He's like the Richie from Dusk Till Dawn, Quentin Tarantino's character in that, where he's got that psycho edge.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like,
He starts licking the face off that lady and making them march to his song.
This old elderly lady is like, "Oh, you brute," and then he's like, "What'd you call me?"
And just proceeds to lick her face.
Starts
Guys are
making
like,
out
"Hey,
with
this
her.
guy's kind of crazy." And it's like, well, they do call him Crazy Lee.
Yeah. He's like the Scorpio killer from Dirty Harry, where he's like, "Everybody start singing now. Start singing a lullaby." And they're saying some kind of biblical hymn, and he's leading them around in a little parade of his own inside the bank.
The temperance parade's going on.
Coming past the bank, and they're all holed up and Pike gets the good idea to use the temperance parade as their getaway. One of the brothers, what was his name? Toch?
Lyle and
Tector Gorch. He notices he's hiding by the horses there. Fucking doors open. The teller gets tossed right into the parade, and all fucking hell breaks goddamn loose.
They're just firing into the crowd of people. The drummer is falling over, banging his drums, getting shot.
People are getting shot left and fucking right. Good guys, bad guys, innocent people in the temperance
Yeah,
unit.
the tuba player gets shot.
fucking ganked.
And we get a Wilhelm scream.
You
not
do,
long
yeah.
after.
Which was, man, it would have been fucking hilarious if the tuba player just goes womp womp when he fucking gets shot. We did not get that, sadly.
Guess they aren't fans of the arts.
That might be more of a Ridiculous Six thing. But
Those Peckerwoods only care about one thing: money.
If Ridiculous Six had jokes.
Like it's just fucking carnage from Jump Street there.
Crazy Lee just starts killing the hostages and the fucking bank too, right?
But like half of fucking Pike's crew is killed. Pike manages after the tuba guy gets shot in front of Pike. Pike gets on his horse, tramples a woman. It ain't like a couple of gallops, man. That fucking bitch got runned over.
Yes.
Another guy of Pike's crew gets shot in the face with a shotgun. The guy who gets shotgun manages to survive for the meantime.
half of the Pike gang makes it out of there without getting massacred.
Less than fucking half of that gang.
Pretty good odds.
Yeah.
The other half just turned into red paste.
And this movie's properly squibbed.
It's really cool looking blood and splats and everything else.
As we know, like, this was a controversial movie in its time.
Oh, hugely.
I read over Ebert's review from the time, and like other Chicago critics were like escorting people out of the theater. Like people were like fainting. Apparently, it's like,
or people wondering why. Like, how can you
people
make
like,
this?
do you need psychiatric help? And like,
or how some of the highbrow critics were like, how can this be a motion picture? Where other people saw it and they were like, this is the most original fucking Western ever fucking made.
yeah,
To test
this
the
blew
time.
people's minds for the time. I mean, by today's standards and everything that came after it, it's nothing. I mean, Bonnie and Clyde came before this. That was
Which
like
was
another movie
yeah,
that like
yeah.
blew people away. It was like that
With its
early New
violence.
Hollywood shit.
Massacres are in.
People are like, wait, you mean like people getting shot isn't like cute and funny or whatever? Like,
Didn't Ebert equate it to? He made another later review and he equated it to like Pulp Fiction. At the time,
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction was like, this is the best picture ever made. Other people were like, what the fuck is going on? It's too violent,
yeah, that makes sense.
right?
In his review, he said, we know it's a motion picture. We're not mourning when like somebody's head gets blown off because we think the actors are dead. Like, we're not children. We understand how that works. We are sad, like in Midnight Cowboy, when the guy gets fucking waxed off screen, you see him put a gun up to his head. That guy's dead. We mourn the character. But then in Wild Bunch, these people aren't even characters. They're just a bunch of fucking bystanders getting blown away.
Imagine if you could mourn the character and watch a person explode like a watermelon.
Martin Scorsese was originally at an early screening of the film and was talking about how it was like one of the most original pictures he had ever seen. But you could tell like some of the studio execs were like, what the fuck are we going to release? Proof was in the print. Like it didn't make a nickel. No, it failed at the box office.
Public voted against temperance leagues being massacred in the street.
Well, you had Vietnam and people were fucking
cowards.
Like, they weren't ready to accept that level of violence. Once you hit the fucking next decade, things were a little bit different.
They were ready to take the American myth down a peg.
Tom Savini, he did great gore effects for, Romero, the zombie movies. And he was a Vietnam War combat, photographer. That was his benchmark for if he liked the gore effects he was doing or not. It was like, if it reminds me of Nam when I was actually photographing, then I'm down with it.
Pike is fucking freaking out on that Hardigan dude, the main boss there for the
he
railroad. You want to fucking make a massacre? Like, you count me out of this. And he's like, fuck you, you're my Judas goat.
We forgot about Crazy Lee's ending.
Oh, yeah, singing away and then getting shotgunned to death.
Yeah, he does blow away that lady whose ear he was tonguing out. And he goes, ew, feathers flew off like a turkey. And he kills the kids, too, guns them down.
Right.
He's like, kiss my sister's black ass.
Yeah, black cat's ass.
Black cat's ass. My black sister's ass.
You're getting that all wrong.
Kiss my sister's black cat's ass. Which is like a mouthful. But
Yeah, it's an old Appalachian mountain saying, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's getting shot and he shoots 3 marshals before fucking dying.
Which was sad because he brought that kind of Deliverance, dangerous hillbilly energy to the movie.
Yeah.
Where you're like, he could grope someone at a moment's notice or
I
shoot
mourn
them.
that character.
And you find out later too, it's the old guy that is partners with the bunch, Sykes. That was his grandson.
Yeah, he's like, how did my grandson do? Crazy Lee.
Pike's like, I didn't know he was your grandson.
He's like, he was great.
Was he?
He was fine. He did just fine. He's like, I just wanted to make sure he pulled his weight.
He's got tobacco running down his mouth. He's like, did my grandson pull his weight or not? Was he real good on the mission there?
He didn't make it, Sykes. How do you think he did? Deke is all fucking butthurt because this massacre's happened. He's freaking out, but he has no choice but to go after him, or otherwise he's going right back to jail. And he does not want to spend another fucking minute in prison being prison whipped. So him and the fucking bounty hunters are back in pursuit. They relentlessly chase them all in through Mexico. As what's left of the bunch, they're heading up a mountain. They're trying to get out of Texas. The one guy that survived the shotgun blast to the face.
He's blind. He's a liability.
Yeah.
He's been slowing them down.
And then, then the dude's like, just fucking do it. And Pike blows him away. He's like, want to take the time to bury him? And they're like, yeah, he was a good man. And then Borgnine there, Dutch, she's like taking the piss out of him.
They're a bunch of hard-ass men.
Yeah, but you can tell right there, like, at any moment, they're going to fucking shoot one another. Yeah,
like, if you die in the desert, you're going to get buried in the desert.
But also, you got to stand by your man when you go with him.
That's one for all. If I'm not pulling my weight on the podcast, you guys know what to do.
Yeah.
I have to shoot you.
Guns trained on each other through this entire time.
Feed him to ants out in the desert.
Cool. But they make it to the hideout where Sykes is waiting. The Gulch brothers are fucking guffawing about who gets what cut. They come to find out that their fucking big score laying in wait has been nothing but bags of washers, $1 worth of washers.
Just a bunch of silver washers.
Yeah.
It was all a setup.
They were
got no
already
money.
mad about even having to share their scores. They're like, because they got to share with Sykes, I think.
Yeah, they were complaining about
The old
sharing
man.
with the old
Share
man.
the old. You guys don't want equal shares, you damn lily-livered trash. Borgnine's like, cheap, 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 cheap. That's his chicken noises, I guess.
Yeah, that's the scene where you see that Pike is the alpha cowboy in that group.
Well, yeah, he's
because
leader of the gang.
we ain't want to share no gold. Yeah. And he stands up, he's like, why don't you take it all then? And it kind of gives them his old man steely look. Yeah. And that puts them in their place right quick.
Silver rings.
Yeah.
Silver ring my butt. That line had a whole different connotation to me, having been on the internet since I was a young boy.
We shot our way out of that town for $1 worth of steel
washers. Yeah, the timing when the film takes place is very, very important and integral to the rest of the film because it's supposed to be 1913 and it's pretty much the end of the Old West. It's all the good times are fucking done. Can't keep thinking with our guns anymore. That
the Kaiser's on his way up over in Germany. He's gonna be. We're gonna go on a European adventure.
No one's going to, the only final adventure for any of these guys is the fucking grave. Like,
Probably better than going to fight in World War One, but
Yeah.
most of those guys were too old to be fighting in World War One.
yeah, I guess.
Like, I mean, like Pike looks like he's hitting 40s or 50s. The joke about all that movies are probably all 25. They just live fucking hard, right?
Living harsh out in the desert, getting bombarded by the same nuclear waves that John Wayne got bombarded by.
So yeah, this
Sometimes
is
it
where
just
Sykes
works
is
out.
just laughing maniacally at them.
Like a proper
Like,
mountain
they
man.
set us up, and who's they? And they's just playing in fancy. That's who they is.
Who's they?
Big tough ones, eh? There you are with a handful of holes, your fingers up your butt, and a big grin to pass the day with.
Yeah. But Pike finally breaks the truth to him. It was like train guys, bounty hunters, Deke, and then fucking Sykes is like, Deke's with them? And he's like, well, we're truly fucked. We're gonna get hunted.
Sykes knows.
Old Deke knows Pike better than the back of his own hand.
Yeah.
They were
These homies.
old buddies from way back in the day.
Even the Mexican guy, Angel, he's like, you can have my silver.
Some nice worthless washers.
So yeah, we get some campfire scenes. These were my favorite parts of the movie. It's just kind of
Yeah.
the guys hanging out and taking the piss out of each other a little bit.
Having a nice can of old beans together.
Yeah, they're like, I should have been running whores instead of stealing army horses. We was getting our bell ropes pulled by two Hondo whores.
Hondo whores. Yeah.
So what does that mean? Getting our bell ropes pulled? What's a Hondo whore? I have so many questions.
I believe that's the town that they hold up in.
Hondo whore. Like, doesn't it sound vaguely racist? Which I think is good for cowboy slang.
It was the name of a John Wayne picture. He did a film called
Hondo whores?
No, that was a John Wayne porno. Thank you.
You got any more Hondo whores in there, Pilgrim?
Hondo whores, why don't you come out tonight? Come out tonight.
I'm fixing to get with one of these pretty ladies.
More eager than a Hondo whore.
Hey, Pilgrim, these horrors ain't Hondo enough. Not a lot of young pretty boys in this movie. This is,
Everyone's ugly.
These guys are old. Pike says this is going to be my last job and then back off. Dutch is like, back off to what? He's accepted the fact that he's just going to the grave this way.
And if they're not going to get shot, they're going to fucking drink themselves to death.
Everybody in this movie looks like they smoke with the windows up in their car.
But ultimately, Pike kind of agrees with Angel to go to Agua Verde, the kind of the area and village in Mexico where Angel's from, just to regroup and figure out the next fucking play.
Is Agua Verde, is that where Mapache is hiding?
You gotta say
We
it.
have
You
to see
gotta put
Mapache.
you gotta put the Latin.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm somewhere down the line Latino.
It's the
You're
best.
like Rob Schneider. You can just play any
I could just play.
nationality.
Yeah, I don't put down on my fucking
Lopez.
Facebook bio that I'm ethnically ambiguous.
Could be anything.
Could
Could be could be Mapache's cousin.
Mapache Junior.
It's a strong name.
Mapache.
It rolls off the tongue really well.
Mapache means raccoon in Spanish.
Well,
That's a
he
good
is
name.
quite the bandit.
They get to town. They roll into town. They're celebrated because Angel has returned. He's the young Mexican guy in the group, kind of inexperienced, full of fiery Latino passion. He comes to find out that things have turned fucking sour with the arrival of General Huerte, who's trying to. You're in the middle of the Mexican Revolution right now. These are the years. The one old guy there, the one old Mexican guy, elder of his village, is like, these are the years of sadness in Mexico.
Angel's like, Teresa, did they molest? No molesta. She went with Mapache.
She laughed
So
when they
I thought
killed
that
all
was
the
his
men.
sister, but that was his girlfriend.
It's his it was his woman. And he keeps asking, "Where's Mapache?" And like the old timer's like, "Do you like your dad's dead too? Your dad went out like a man. Are you fucking more pissed off about Teresa going to Mapache or your padrino?" He doesn't even fucking answer him, so you can tell he's fucking pissed off that his main bitch fucking took off with the ugly old general guy.
Yeah, I would be too.
He has what they call a vendettas.
If Mapache takes my woman in a dream, he better wake up and apologize.
In the noches.
For as sad as this is supposed to be, this village looks awesome. Everybody's having big cookouts. There's kids running around
Yeah.
playing. They got like a nice swimming hole. It's nice, like tree covered in the shade.
Yeah, do they have a pinata here? It's again, it looks like it's pretty fun to be a member of the Wild Bunch. You have a camp out and you go have a Mexican party and
Yeah, they
Fall
have
in
a
love with
dance.
cuties in every Mexican village.
One of them says to Angel, like, we all miss our childhood. Perhaps even the worst of us all. Pretty poignant line. It's like,
they're bonding.
You can't ever quite go home, can you? Like,
What's home to these guys? Home's
Yeah.
on the run.
in a Hondo whorehouse.
But Pike gets the good idea to go see this Mapache, the general, and ask him for work because they got no other fucking play. So they
Yeah.
roll into town in the middle of this this fiesta, and who should be there but Teresa, who catches the eye of Angel and openly mocks him and goes after her. Puta! And one of the Gardish brothers, Lyle, he's like, look at him. I don't think she misses you too much, sticking her tongue down the general's ear.
Really twist the knife in.
They're fucking, man, like, these guys, like, it's so weird. It's the juxtaposition of brotherhood and sheer, like, violence towards each other. And they're ready to they'll kill each other before they kill anybody else. At the same time, they'll protect each other. The dichotomy
nobody
of...
kills him but me.
Yeah, the dichotomy of the bunch is fucking crazy because he's edging him on. He's edging Angel on to react in some negative fashion. So he fucking takes the gun on the table.
It's pretty ridiculous because you've got the 5 Wild Bunch guys just in the middle of about 1,000 Mexican army guys who work for Mapache and his General Huerta. Yeah, sure enough, Angel does the the worst move.
Shouts at the top of his lungs, "Puta!" and fucking kills her, shoots her dead in the chest while she's sitting on Mapache's lap.
It's quite startling to Mapache, but
Yeah, they just like explain, and they're like, "Oh, it's his woman,"
it
and
makes
everybody
sense.
just like laughs. And then
of course he shot her cheating black heart.
then they're looking at their digs, and they're like, "Oh, are you guys with the American Army?" And like Frederick Moore is this German guy we meet there.
German
So the-
general or
Yeah, the historical
attaché.
context of all of this was a little lost on me. I don't know.
I think
what
he's
the
like an
Germans were
arms
doing
dealer.
there.
The German commander there. He's inquiring as to what the bunch is all about and how they can obtain all this army gear. Things are already running hot after Angel kills Teresa. But Pike and Dutch manage to defuse this entire situation, saying, "Hey, we'll fucking come work for you and get you all this military gear. We know how to get it. We got to rob this train."
Yeah.
Much again to the chagrin of Angel, who the Huertista army is killing off his fucking fellow villagers and family left and right.
I think they capture him at first, and then they free him to go back with his gang, right?
Yeah, and they
do the
beat
score.
him up a little bit. But Pike manages like, we need him. It's like, we'll give you a better man. It's like, this is the only guy I want.
Yeah.
Therefore, reinforcing Pike's attitude towards the brotherhood of the bunch and sticking with your guys.
So we get like a long extended scene where they're getting fucking
just
hammered.
carousing.
This is a great party.
This is fun, man. They're going on a tear, these brothers.
They
got
shoot a
these
giant
going-
wine barrel and they're just hanging
in
out
the
under
wine.
and the wine's running into their mouths. And
To explain this film in a few short phrases, all it is a Western, it's violent, and Mexican titties. I'm sorry.
What
In this
more do you
manner.
need?
What more do you need? And then they end up all taking a bath together in a wine barrel. I'm like,
That
this
looks
is why
like the
this film
funnest
gotta
thing
get-
I could imagine in the whole world.
It gotta be.
The other guys, Pike and Dutch, are like sitting in a sauna.
Drinking tequila. I'm sorry you don't do that in a fucking sauna.
they're more dehydrated than a dried out old sponge.
my God,
They're sitting in the sauna sweating and
You'd be seeing
drinking
quadruple
tequila.
by the time you left that fucking
Pounding
sauna.
off.
It's a
probably
spirit
too.
quest.
That's where they offer Angel a case of guns,
Ammunition,
guns, and
guns.
ammo. Use these for your village.
Yeah, what if one of these crates disappeared off the back of the truck and found its way into my village? Then we could put up a decent fight against Mexican army guys and corrupt authority and all these other people.
Because Mapache's gonna pay him a fucking tidy sum. Like, what does Pike say? 10 grand. It's like, my family's dying. Like, Angel's like, my family's dying out there. It's like 10 grand can cut a lot of family ties. I was like, that's fucking cold, man. Like,
Angel's like, in 1969
can.
dollars. That's
still a lot of money.
millions.
Angel agrees to come along with them because it will save his own ass. At the same time, he agrees to fucking give his share of the loot to the rest of the bunch in exchange for one crate of fucking guns and ammo to give back to his family and his villagers back home, and therefore help the one fledgling Pancho Villa.
They say that a few times. They're like, yeah, he works under Villa. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Pancho Villa.
And thus begins the great train robbery.
Yeah, and we know Thornton's hot on their trail.
Yeah.
Thornton and all his goons, and he's got all those gutter trash rednecks that he rounded up as a fucking dime store posse.
They're all missing teeth.
Yeah,
Like,
he doesn't trust them at all. They're like going bang and like threatening him. And
Fucking hates them. Wishes he wasn't with them.
He's always got a diss for them. He's like, if any of you fucks up, I'll shoot you in the head.
Yeah, I'll leave you for dead. You guys fucking get killed out here, I will leave you for dead.
Pike relates the story of how he lost his love, who got caught with him, and then she was shot by her husband.
Brandishing the wound that the husband left him, shot him in the leg.
Got a big divot through his leg. It looks pretty bad.
So we cut right to the guys sneakily jacking the train after it stops at a water tower. This whole sequence is
It's fucking amazing.
expertly shot. It's so cool.
Just quick cuts, man. It's fucking hard as fuck.
They disconnect the car with all the armed guards, like Thornton's posse, I think, are in there.
Yeah.
They set it up where they're like detaching various parts of the train. You've got the guns stored on one part of the train and then soldiers on another part. And they're like, okay, we're going to make off with the gun part of the train, leave the soldiers behind. Then we're going to unload it. It's one of the great train heists in film history.
See, they weren't prepared for Deke and the posse to be on that train, and Deke knows what's up. He's reacting to why is the fucking train moving, right?
Took them long enough to realize the locomotive's taking off, but they're not.
Yeah. And he's like looking at all these like doe-eyed fucking army kids. Mount up, we gotta fucking get going because these guys are robbing the fucking train.
The Wild Bunch knew there was going to be some soldiers there, but they took on the work because they knew it was going to be a bunch of fresh-eyed recruits out of...
They were catching them unawares, and the fucking money was too good to pass up.
Yeah, I would do it.
Ernest Borgnine going through the inventory. He's like, oh, hand grenades.
We got grenades!
I guess I got a bag of grenades now.
Hope we see those later in the movie.
Chekhov's
We do.
grenade.
Yeah, so they get a mile or two up away and start unloading all the fucking guns onto a wagon.
Yep.
They put the fucking train in reverse.
Send the
Send
train
it
back to the fucking army.
Yeah.
Careening down the tracks at the
At full fucking speed. The train hits the rest of the army carriage.
There's one last horse on that
That's
car.
left there that falls.
That-
Animals were hurt in the making of this
Oh yeah, that was ruled out in the opening scene with the scorpion, I think, with the ant.
Or like when they're in the dunes traveling to Agua Verde, fucking horses falling in the sand dunes.
I think those horses got back up.
You sure?
Let's say get back up.
There's a big slippery mess of a scene where all the horses just trip over each other on a sand dune.
It's a nightmare.
You just can't beat the looks of
No.
real animals getting hurt on film.
Yeah.
But Deke and the posse and behind them the army are in hot pursuit of the bunch. Little did they know they fucking rigged that border bridge from Mexico to Texas.
A great Old West bridge explosion in the vein of a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You got to have your good bridge explosion.
Thornton should have seen this coming a little sooner. All of his dumbass gang and him are standing on that bridge opening fire on these guys.
Should have predicted it, yes, but he knows Pike to be unpredictable.
And back in the Old West days, that maneuver would have been, you never would have seen it coming.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw a bridge blow up. Bridges are relatively new.
That was like dropping an A-bomb.
Yeah, you might as well have.
Back in the Old
But they blow it
West.
up. All of a sudden, this movie turns into fucking Sorcerer. And the bridge starts to break because it's so heavy from the ammo from the wagon. It's about to crash, and they're pushing it. They're getting shot at left and right. Deke's posse are a bunch of fuck-ups and start shooting at the army that's there to assist them as backup. All those guys
They've
are
been
freaking
fuck
out.
ups throughout this whole movie. From the opening scene, they shot like one of the bankers, I think. Yeah, and then they're arguing after, like, well, I guess I shot the banker, so I should get his shoes probably.
The only ones keeping their cool are the bunch returning fire. Managed to get the wagon out of Hawk right before the fucking bridge blows up, which apparently was shot in one fucking take with all the horses and everybody on it falling into the
Well,
river.
how many times can you destroy a bridge? It's like that radioactive man shot. This is real acid. We have one take.
Deke and his posse and a bunch of the army guys are sent adrift in the Rio. The bunch managed to get away and try to figure out what to do next. And
Pike's like, we're retired now, boys. And like, they're celebrating anyway. They pass a bottle around. And I'm like, oh, good. The movie's over.
They bury.
No, it's not. There's 54 minutes left. The soundtrack turns all mariachi when Angel takes a big swig of the fucking whiskey.
polishes the ball.
yeah.
All the fucking swill in that ball from them passing it around. I was like, Angel's just pretty much drinking the other guy's spit at that point.
That's how Cowboys said, "How do you do?" They passed around the old bottle of spit and they all gargled it down.
I went and saw one of my customers today, and I had like a spray bottle, and it has this yellow vinyl cleaner in it. It's just like a clear bottle, and it's big, and it has yellow liquid in it. I'm like, look, I brought you a spray bottle. Well, I filled it myself. She just looks at me like, are you a fucking idiot or something? I'm like, with piss. She's like,
You think you pissed in that bottle?
gave me a look that just like could have peeled the paint off the fucking wall.
She automatically thought it was piss?
Landmark court case.
So she didn't take kindly to your piss jokes, what you're saying. She was a modern day millennial, real pissed off about your fucking piss joke.
Normally, I like to make people laugh when I'm on the job. Well, sometimes it doesn't go great.
Got him again. Slow on. Got him again.
Anyway, have a drink.
I was looking at some deleted scenes from Guy Ritchie's Snatch, and one of the scenes is Bullet Tooth Tony pulling out his penis and pissing in someone's pocket. That I think they wisely deleted from the movie.
He pissed in somebody's pocket in that movie?
Yeah. They go to visit Bricktop, and there's a guy who's like, "You beat up my cousin, Bullet Tooth Tony," and
In Snatch, they don't have any interaction with one another in the final cut.
no,
right?
I don't think so.
You know what I just
Bricktop.
found out recently? Forrest Gump. I gotta get the fucking Blu-ray now. There is a fucking scene. Two fucking scenes. One of them they wisely cut out of the fucking movie.
Like graph-
After Jenny leaves, after she fucks Forrest at the night of the bicentennial, 1976.
Oh, yeah.
Remember she goes off in the cab? So she gets in the cab, right? And the cabbie's like being a whole fucking prick, cheeky fucker. And he's like, where you go? Where you running off to? And Jenny's like, nowhere. Cuts to, as we remember, Gump waking up in the morning feeling sad, then I just went running. Jenny goes back home to her father's, where she grew up, and her father molested her. Her dad is still alive in the cornfield, runs him over with the tractor. She goes and kills her dad and fucks off to Georgia.
Was there another deleted scene?
Gump saves Martin Luther King from being attacked by dogs.
In the actual book, Forrest Gump was like a bad guy, right? I'm pretty sure he attacked Martin Luther King at one point, and then he exploded the
different.
Challenger spaceship or something like that.
I met a nice young man named Ted Kaczynski, I think it was. They suspect that these guys aren't fucking dummies. They suspect Mapache will double-cross them, so of course they stash some of the load.
Classic train robbery scenario where you've got a load of military-grade weaponry and Mapache wants it, but meanwhile the villagers want it, and the Wild Bunch doesn't want to get robbed from it. So there's a lot of intrigue circling around.
Got to be chaotic evil and sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Pike's got a great idea that they're not going to give the whole fucking stash to him in one go.
Yeah.
Because they get confronted in the canyon there with the whole fucking army.
Hundreds of guys on fucking horseback confront them.
One guy gets shot, falls off the fucking canyon. Have you guys ever watched Three Amigos? The lieutenant there, he's El Guapo.
Is that same
I have
guy?
not.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's El Guapo.
yeah.
It's like it's him, but like 20 years younger. Take the Amigos clothes. Man, it's awesome.
Should have done
Martin
Three
Short.
Amigos instead of Ridiculous Six.
Pike agrees that they're going to sell all the ammunition guns in piecemeal.
Only way they can trust them.
Pike shows them they're all loaded up with TNT too. Pretty smart for a gringo.
You bring me your gun now. You put
We're all friends here.
And then they break out the real fucking pièce de résistance, that machine gun.
Which the bunch says is a present. It's like, that's a present to the general. And they're like, muchas gracias, amigo.
Yeah. You think they might be about to turn it on the general right then, but they're like, no, we do have a machine gun. You can have it. I think
Good
this
luck.
is a Chekhov's machine gun. We had the Chekhov's bag of grenades earlier, and the Chekhov's machine gun.
Well, the fucking violent turn of events, the fucking general, while that Commander Moore, the German guy's like, put it on that tripod, and he tells him to go fuck himself, and he just shoots everything in sight because he
They're
can't
doing the
fucking control
Rambo
it.
maneuver.
Yeah.
Just like how Rambo fires that helicopter's machine gun into the air.
He shoots several people, I think, by accident.
I don't think anybody got hit. Everybody hit the deck when he was like running, like shooting in circles. I don't know how he didn't manage to kill anybody, but
Mapache is a good sport. I'm pretty sure he's laughing.
all those fucking soldiers are drunk off their ass at any given moment. Anytime you go into that fucking town, everyone's boozed right to the fucking gills. It's insane. There's no temperance movement in fucking Mexico, baby.
Yeah, they're Catholics. Catholics drink.
It's the only way to forget.
The bunch takes turns going back and forth, taking to Mapache.
We do get some good scenes of them in here chirping each other like, why in the hell don't you stir up some grub? why in the hell don't you go to hell? And then
He's taking a piss and he throws a stick of dynamite at him while he's pissing. Any of you motherfuckers doing that, it's going right up your ass lit.
You'd never know. It's like,
Fuck yeah, I would know.
where'd that dynamite come from?
I would do that. I don't know, maybe like fireworks.
yeah.
That's like something we would do.
Yeah, that's
Fireworks
Yeah,
is
but that's
dynamite.
funny.
That's the same thing.
if
Yeah, but I'm not going to blow up because of it.
If it takes your legs off, I had nothing to do with it. But if it's just like a fun explosion,
going
then
up
it was
either
like,
one of
that
your
was.
asses, I swear to God.
One leg, I
Spoil
claim
sport.
responsibility. 2 legs, I leave no witnesses.
Can't believe that ghost put that dynamite behind you while you were pissing.
The last shipment is taken in by Dutch and Angel. Mapache finds out that
Angel stole the 16th
last
case.
16th case. Angel tries to make a getaway, gets captured. Fucking Deke and the boys and the posse are still hot on their heels. So he
Ernest Borgnine beats it out of there right quick.
Yeah, he gets out of there.
He's there with Angel, and your friend Angel's a thief, and he's like, well, I guess I can leave now. See you guys later. But he's playing it off like,
there's no
that's your guys'
other
business, Mapache.
But Sykes manages to gather some horses for the bunch to get new horses. Gets assailed upon by Deke, and the posse gets shot in the leg. Sykes gets found upon by one of Angel's would-be relatives from his village, which sets up the turn. Pike and the bunch return to Mapache to plead the case, to get the rest of the money, and also plead the case to we'll buy Angel back from you.
Right.
Who they are dragging on the back of an automobile and having a really good time doing it.
Wheels are in motion here. I'm figuring there's going to be some kind of cathartic bloodbath at the end to
Do you know they
wash everything
nicknamed
away.
him, called him Bloody Sam? That's an actual nickname given to him after this film.
It's
Say
well
his
earned.
name 3 times in a mirror. Does he appear?
Covered
Bloody
in blood.
Sam, Bloody Sam, Bloody Sam.
Smokes and whiskey in either hand. What a guy. I'd party
that
with
sounds
him.
all right.
I'm figuring there's been a few factions introduced in the movie so far. You've got Angel's villagers, you've got like the Mexican army, you've got the Wild Bunch guys, and you've got Deke's posse. I'm like, okay, they're gonna get all these factions together for one like huge cathartic bloodbath. It doesn't quite play out that way, but
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen too.
it goes nearly where you're thinking it'll go. But
Still ends like a movie hasn't ended that I've seen outside of like the 1980s with like Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
yeah,
Just a fucking massacre.
Those movies feel tame compared to what fucking happens next.
Yeah, we get a badass scene because they're not taking the deal. Mapache is like, fuck off.
No,
for
yeah,
keeping
offers
Angel.
him the money. Have fun. There's
Take some women.
Bonitas. Get sucked and fucked. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and Pike's like, all right. And then he's fucking this chick. And he just kind of gets dressed. And then he's like, hey, guys, should we go fucking kill everybody or what?
He's looking at the girl, and I think it kind of reminds him of that chick that he was with before she got killed. The Gorch brothers are swindling this other Mexican prostitute. I think there's a sparrow, and she cries because the sparrow gets crushed by one of the brothers.
she
Oh,
can't
yeah.
handle the Old West. She couldn't handle a scorpion being eaten by ants. She can't even handle a sparrow being crushed by a human being.
Basically, Pike just gets dressed and is like, let's go.
Let's do our killing now.
Ernest Borgnine, Dutch is just hanging out, whittling away. All three of them kind of get...
During the liberation of Versailles, I masturbated 12 times that night.
Did he say that on The Tonight Show? He didn't say that on
He
The
should
Tonight
have.
Show. But they get in front of Mapache. It's like, we want him back. Fuck your deal. Mapache returns in kind and slits Angel's throat in front of him.
You knew the way this scene was building up that somebody was going to get their throat slit.
At which point they fucking blast on Mapache, killing him.
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose.
It's like dead silent for like a beat. Everybody's like, okay, what do we do? Do we just kill everybody? Okay. Yeah,
we could
okay,
just all
let's
walk
go.
away.
No, bloodbath.
Boom. People are dying left and right.
Yeah, we got Lyle jumping up on that machine gun, riding
Yeah.
that thing around like Rambo, fucking mowing people down.
Yeah, they get on the machine gun.
Women are getting involved.
Oh, my-
Prostitutes pull guns and shit.
Bunch of Hondo whores.
Easy, Mitchell. No, they're in Agua Verde, you fucking
It's
asshole.
cowboy talk.
Dutch uses one of the Mexican prostitutes as a fucking human shield. Marches her forward as she's being shot. He's being shot. He's fucking killing everybody to clear path for this fucking machine gun to go off. Pike's running around on the back of that stage and opening there in the square. Kills the guy that's behind a mirror. He gets shot by the fucking Mexican whore. Shoots
that
him in the
Hondo.
back. And he fucking turns around, says bitch, and fucking blows her away.
Yes.
Like even more craziness goes off, and both the brothers die at this point. Pike gets on the fucking machine gun, starts blowing holy hell at everybody. Dutch is just lobbing grenades and everything, blasting fucking to pieces.
Yeah, the Chekhov's grenades coming into play.
But it's not enough. All those guys are too many dudes. Too many
like 100
Mexicans.
guys against 6.
That's game 6, but they give him one hell of a fight. There's that beautiful wide angle shot of them walking, one of the most iconic shots ever.
It looks so good.
They've all got their shotguns and they're carrying their guns.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Gotta have it in
Yeah.
any Western.
Yeah, and then walking into the square, being told, fuck you, we want Angel. Mapache telling, fuck you, this guy's dead, slits his throat, boom, boom, boom.
But there is just a general air that they are going to die here, too.
Yeah,
Like,
they've made their peace. It harkens back to what Pike and Dutch were arguing earlier about Deke Thornton. He's like, he gave his word to the railroad. That's why he's hunting us. Like, for Pike, he still views Deke as his friend and regretted running out on him, even after he promised
There's
him
a
that
few
it would've been
moments
okay.
throughout the movie where their closeness
They're
kind
simpatico.
of lets one get away or something like that, where it's like, well, I can't just shoot him while he's taking a shit in the street.
Pike's weirdly sticking up for Deke and saying, like, you know, he gave his word to the railroad, and then fucking Dutch is like, that ain't what counts. It's who you give it to. The last two standing are Pike and Dutch, and Pike's on the fucking machine gun trying to blast anybody that's coming down his path, anybody coming up to the thing.
Sweet. War
got-
is sweet.
War is hell.
War is so cool.
You got Dutch there, Borgnine's like, give him hell, Pike! And I'm fucking like cheering like some ninth grader
Yeah.
at a basketball game.
Like it's Friday Night
Like
Lights.
yeah, like they're about to. The movie fools you into thinking they could fucking make it. One of the soldiers is one of the 10-year-old boy shooting at the bunch and manages to wound both Pike and Dutch.
It's like The Wire where a kid shoots Omar at the end.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm still bummed about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see a close up of the kid like grinning and like I got him and shit like that. Dutch was like, no, Pike. And he's pretty much shouting no and Pike at the same time until he fucking dies. It's all fucking over.
That's how you go to Cowboy Valhalla.
Yeah, they had 5 stars in GTA. That's it for their story. Thornton shows
And the
up
posse,
and kind of surveys the massacre that happened. Posse's looting all the bodies.
It's a goddamn picnic here.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Does
Thornton
his boots
sits
have
and-
holes in them or no?
Yeah, he just...
He's got gold in his tooth. Give me your knife.
Yeah,
but
he's
Deke is
just kind of brooding there. He's not super happy.
yeah, he's totally dejected because his friend's
Yeah.
dead. He's the rest of the posse there. They're like, "Are you sticking around?" And he's like, "Just fucking take him. I don't give a shit." And they're singing Polly Waddle Doodle on a day. But and then they just leave Deke there, and then it cuts back. Angel's fellow villagers come back with the bunch's bodies. They fucking ambushed Deke's posse and got the bodies back and offer with Sykes. Sykes asked Deke what he's gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna drift around here around these parts, try not to end up in prison.
Yeah, it ain't like it used to be, but it'll do. I think Sykes' crazy laugh is like the last thing we hear in the movie. Like,
Yeah, right off.
So fitting.
But that's the end of the movie, man.
yeah, we get a brief montage of all the fallen Wild Bunch too, kind of like Predator doing their own laughs.
Oh, yeah. Ernest Borgnine especially. He's got the best turn and laugh to
Yeah.
camera, the history of cinema.
I wish every movie did this like Too Many Cooks thing.
Yeah, at least 1 in 5 movies should have this.
Yeah.
They don't because of woke.
The same reason that my phone doesn't have a donkey emoji or a diarrhea emoji.
Right.
Which was a great handicap when discussing our next film, Ridiculous 6.
Which we'll talk about after the break.
Anyway.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Well, we poured ourselves a couple of sarsaparillas. We're back on now to talk about the Ridiculous 6, directed by Frank Coraci.
Yahoo!
Now, this was the first or one of the first movies that Sandler made with his big Netflix deal.
It was originally going to be a film for Sony. It was going to be theatrically released with The Hateful Eight. Yeah. He managed to score the deal with Netflix, and the rest is fucking history. I don't know, has he ever released another? No, Pixels. That's the only movie he's released theatrically? Since since that Netflix.
Like as his production.
Yeah.
Hasn't there been
Obviously,
a couple
not
grown-ups
counting-
movies in the mix there or something?
I guess you're right.
There's a cutoff at some point where it was like I never paid attention to Adam Sandler ever again, and I think it's somewhere like around Little Nicky period,
2003
shortly
for
after
me.
that.
2003 for
Anger management.
that and
I saw that in the theater. And
I enjoyed that. Jack
Jack.
Nicholson's good.
Punch Drunk Love, and then I fucking tuned out.
Well, when he's-
no, and even one after that, 50 First Dates, and then I tuned out.
I don't count movies like Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
when he's working with
those are art.
a great director like the Safdie brothers. Like,
Yeah, the Safdies.
That doesn't
or
count
Paul
as an
Thomas
Adam
Yeah,
Anderson.
P.T. Anderson. Yeah, then it would be 50 First Dates, so about 20 years ago this spring. Then I tune out. I think I went and saw Click with my then girlfriend and wondering what the fuck was happening in my life.
So this movie, it looks like absolute dog shit. It's got that typical Netflix video look. It looks like, I was saying to you guys earlier, it looks like a Funny or Die sketch.
Yeah.
Like it's a Western. Like it's difficult to make a Western look like shit.
Just so much unnatural lighting and then like shitty sets.
You know, it was kind of supposed to be a parody of The Hateful Eight, and of course, The Hateful Eight had all those amazing shot-on-film vistas and everything like
It's
that.
Shot on 70. I still got a fucking beef with that. He did it for the sake of still shooting on film. You reserve that right to shoot on 70 millimeter when you're fucking making Lawrence of Arabia.
What fucking business is it of yours? What
How
film
dare
stock
you.
he uses?
I gotta fucking say
movie looked
this.
great.
It does look great, but it like the whole thing's in a goddamn cabin.
The whole thing?
The majority of it.
It's exterior shots.
90% of the film's in a fucking cabin.
Who cares, man?
There's some good snow western shots going across a nice
That's when that
foresty
counts,
background.
right? Like when you're shooting out in the desert and things are exploding, or you're shooting
Yeah.
all those vistas.
I appreciated it, but this movie was shot by Dean Semler. I saw that name come up on the credits. I'm like, that's a cinematographer whose name sounds familiar.
What do you do?
Good stuff.
He sold
Mad
out.
Max 2, The Road Warrior, Dances with Wolves, Apocalypto.
He's one of these guys who at a certain point he fell in with Sandler and he was just like, oh, I'm going to get paid more than I've ever been paid in my life before.
And
just
shoot on
to
video. Please shoot on video with
do
this
a
harsh
crappy
lighting.
video shot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll
this-
shoot a scene in a day.
No kidding.
This guy did a shit ton of westerns, like real ones. I mean, I'm not the biggest Dances with Wolves fan, but like that movie is shot amazingly well.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Anyway.
And he made this?
This is something you see a lot with cinematographers. Like a lot of these great ones.
I just have to point the camera.
Depends who they're working with, I guess.
Be able to pay for my mortgage this month. It'll be great.
Like Michael Wincott in the movie Nope, who's just taking a paycheck for all these shit jobs, and then he gets, well, you know what? We got something really interesting to shoot, and that guy wanted to make that last shot count.
Yeah.
Ridiculous 6. It opens up. We got Steve Zahn in a cabin. He's got like a glass eye, and
CGI glass eye.
well, I didn't think they plucked out his fucking eye.
Yeah, this
It's
was no
Steve Zahn.
Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, where you're not sure. Apparently, they used a contact lens for his eye in that.
They
and
don't know. They won't reveal the secret as to how they did the eye.
I think it was a contact, and they switch it from eye to eye throughout the movie to
Really?
like
To fuck with people.
fool you out. But yeah, this is just Steve Zahn.
He's a good actor too, and I think he's funny.
I always liked
In a lot of
Zahn.
things.
He can do drama and comedy in lots of stuff. Not here.
You gotta admit, he's like the forgiving piece of one of the forgiving pieces of this film.
Yeah,
Like him and Will Forte at the very fucking least.
Forte's always funny, and here he could barely even get a laugh from me. I love Forte.
Dude,
He's
yeah, I know.
so fucking
Like,
funny.
MacGruber will still stand the test of time for me.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the only time I've seen Will Forte where I wasn't like pissing my pants laughing.
Yeah, and that's sad because he. Oh man.
The ridiculous six effect. It's where you watch the movie and you actually feel kind of sad.
Pretty much.
It's insane the amount of fucking star power and how much pull Sandler has to get these guys in a fucking Netflix movie and have it completely fall short.
There's no ideas here. Sandler comes into the cabin and he's dressed like a Injun.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
what
mysterious
Steve Zahn
Injun.
says he doesn't like their kind. He's like, oh no, I'm actually a white guy. I just dress like this so I don't get scalped down on the prairie.
Look, okay, let's. He doesn't. Sandler's the only one playing it "quote unquote" straight in this movie, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nolte a little bit.
And he's in and out of this either cowboy accent or outright racist Native American Apache accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the the other, I don't even know if they're proudly represented here, Native Americans in this movie that aren't fucking Sandler's wife.
You mean like boobs on display and smoking
See-through
fox?
shirt or whatever the fuck.
Never wears bra.
Never
That's
wears-
Sandler.
thank you.
Never wears
That's
bra.
Jackie Sandler.
Right. Who is not Native American, I don't fucking think.
I think she's Italian.
Well, that tracks, right? Old Westerns using Italians. And they're poorly represented here with these fake-ass fucking Native American accents, all broken up English and shit. It's fucking crazy what they were allowed to
White
get away
Knife,
with.
you so
Yeah.
sexy.
A good number, this was well publicized when the movie came out. A good number of people from the tribe walked out on set and protested the stereotypes and the treatment. And it's like, yeah, and their whole idea with this movie was like, we have a diverse cast, we're making racial jokes, but like everybody's kind of getting in on the joke and like picking
Let's all
at
get
each other.
along.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
Everyone's in
I
the crossfire.
kind of get it, but like there's nothing more to
Funny.
the jokes.
Yeah.
The jokes aren't fucking funny.
No.
It's just dumb old racial jokes.
Like, it is fucking crazy. Like I said, it was fucking crazy what Netflix will let you get away with on their fucking shit.
Feels a couple decades out of date.
Yeah.
Netflix sucks fucking dick, man. Can we just say that on this platform? Everybody I know subscribes to them. There's fucking dick on there, man. Their shit sucks.
Everything I've seen there, I've seen 1,000 times.
Once every couple years, they have a decent original TV show, and like that's about it.
So void though.
Every time some new joke happened on screen, I was like, this is comedy death.
Frank Karachi did something that was actually really good and really heartfelt with Sandler, The Wedding Singer. I can't believe this is made by the same guys who did that.
Maybe I have to rewatch The Wedding Singer just to see what's going on.
Rewatch The
here.
Wedding Singer, and it's still fucking funny with all its jokes from the 80s. And they try to do it with this, but it falls so fucking short.
You're right. It actually is a lot like The Wedding Singer, and it does make The Wedding Singer look worse by comparison. Whatever. Like, I know in The Wedding Singer, they're doing all these 80s movie jokes. It's like, oh, look, I have a CD player. And like,
but
look,
it's
now
cute.
I have a haircut like Flock of Seagulls. And it's like all these like signifiers.
Here's my Walkman.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do here. Right. And in my opinion, The Wedding Singer also is no longer funny. For the same reason.
Ridiculous Six was a movie that while I was watching it, I was like, oh, you don't even need to make jokes here, because if you stop making jokes, the movie will be 20 minutes shorter. And that'll be the greatest gift you could possibly give me, Ridiculous Six.
I don't even know how we got away with the fucking runtime.
It's longer than Star Wars. It is obscene how much the fucking runtime is padded out for not even jokes.
Yeah.
And not action either.
No.
There's no fucking action.
Nothing really happens.
We don't need the scene. Please cut this scene.
No, keep going.
Shave 10 minutes
We're
off.
validating this contract with Sandler. Like,
So yeah, this is where we see the gang ride up, and it's the Left Eye Gang. We learn that's Will Forte is the leader.
They all wear their
always
eye
funny Will
patches over
Forte.
their
We got
left
Nick
eyes.
Swartz and a
Right.
bunch of other guys who I
Not
don't
funny.
really
Like a bunch
who
of
aren't funny and who I don't necessarily recognize.
bunch of Happy Madison guys, I'm assuming. Your Nick
Mostly,
Swartzens and
Comedians, friends of Adam Sandler.
his buddies.
Yeah, they're menacing this native woman who's standing outside who came in with Sandler, I guess. They're
She's
saying
Smoking Fox.
Smoking Fox. Yeah, that's her name. Julia Jones, I believe, is the actress's name. Yeah, they're saying stuff like, you partial to white faces, polka hot tits.
Yeah, they're real clever.
Ha ha.
and it goes on like this.
So yeah, Sandler pops out and he just like beats a couple guys up really fast. He like lifts a bag of flour up in the air.
He's like
and
the
like
Flash.
Yeah, he's got like super speed for some fucking reason.
Adam Sandler needs to be the best. And they also keep commenting. They make this running joke.
How he's so mystical.
Yeah, he's mystical Native American powers to defeat his enemies.
Every time he does something cool, he'll move really fast. They'll be like, that was some mystical shit. White Knife. That's his special Native American name, White Knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were they thinking? What did they think that was funny? Them saying mystical? What is the joke there? Like,
There is none.
It's bad. It's real bad.
this movie might be worse than North because, like, North, at least those jokes on paper were funny, a lot of them.
There was no second
There's no
draft
fucking jokes
in this
here.
movie.
No, there's no
from
draft.
from script to shooting, there was no second draft.
Like, White Knife then throws a carrot in Will Forte's leg, and he says, "You suck." Like, that's the best we got.
He goes into Steve Zahn's shack and he's like, "I need flour and I need
Steve
a
Zahn
carrot
sold him.
with
He
peanut
sold him the
butter."
gear.
Steve Zahn realizes that Adam Sandler, you're that white boy that done disappeared with the Indian tribe years ago, ain't you? And then Adam Sandler throws the carrot into his leg.
Yeah.
And,
How did you do? I was raised by Apaches.
Shabba.
So then we go back to the Apaches tribe. Sandler is shooting arrows up in the air and catching them
With his mouth.
with his mouth and with his hand and whatever. He can catch him with his dick or whatever.
Did he catch him with his dick?
No,
No.
but
But he was doing something with his penis,
well,
wasn't he?
Terry Crews can play a piano.
Oh,
with his penis.
yeah, that's
That-
right.
That pops in later.
Right.
Then this is when
Nick Nolte! Fucking Nick Nolte! Nick Nolte! Back to the fucking pod!
He's here. Applause.
I
Remember,
perked
kids?
up a little bit because he's fucking always good.
He's still great!
Yeah, make it a Nolte.
And so yeah, the tribe's like, "Oh, who's this white guy riding up?" And he's like,
I'm not here to take your land, Chief. I'm just looking for a boy. I'm Frank Stockman. Tommy. He's my son.
Basically the hillbilly from Wild Bunch with just like tobacco stains on his white beard and everything.
Get him in the Wild Bunch remake.
yeah, the chiefs and the other guys are talking, the elders are talking. They're like, "I don't trust this Stockburn." And this was one of the only times I laughed in the movie. The chief guy's like, "Sometimes the white man speaks the truth." Like 1 in 25
times. Yeah.
This may be one of those times.
Yeah. And then they start bonding. Tommy regales about why they split apart and that his mom was murdered by some unknown assailant.
I cheated Ben. I killed Ben. I deserved whatever that was coming to me. The only one who ever saw anything good in me was your mother.
This is White Knife's Batman origin story. He's got
Yeah.
the flashbacks like
Yeah.
Batman has of his mother getting her pearls robbed. He sees there was a guy with a tattoo on his hand who robbed and killed my mother back in the day. Maybe this will pop back in. This is this movie's Chekhov's thing. So,
Frank Stockburn says that he's got a stash of 50 grand from all of his years of stealing, and he wants to give it to the tribe.
Yeah.
We wake up in the morning, we see Jackie Sandler. She's got like her tits poking through her nightie.
Amazing.
Morning never wears bra.
Or I was having naughty dreams about you or something like that.
Yeah, and she's all horny. And
Sorry, never wears bra. I'm dedicated to
Smoking
Fox.
Continuing the theory that every woman is attracted to Adam Sandler
Yeah, the Vanity Project.
the most
energy.
beautiful ones.
in the world.
I mean,
But,
he's just the coolest.
Then it cuts to the arrival of fucking Cicero, played by Danny Trejo.
Yep.
That's part of Nick Nolte's old gang that kidnaps Nick Nolte and gets them to take them down on a 10 days ride.
Right.
Nick Nolte pretends like, I'm retired, Cicero. And Cicero's like, well, that's
okay.
fine if you're retired now, but you still owe us 50,000 pesos from the last heist. And
Yeah.
he's dropping the red herrings. He's like, it's buried over by the singing windmill.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the thing they go after for the rest of this movie. We got to find the singing windmill.
10 days ride.
Go 10 days ride into the desert.
Yeah, so Frank's like,
I'll take you if you don't harm anyone in the tribe.
he gives him a hint that the stash is actually buried among the pine trees near the tribe's camp.
But it's impossible to find it there because it's not enough information. So he's like, I'll never be able to find Pop-Pop's money, so I have to go out and recollect a new 50,000 pesos to free Pop-Pop from Cicero.
But he's like, we can't steal from innocent folks. Like, well, why don't we steal from bad people
He's like Robin Hood.
to justify this crime spree that is about to take place?
Yeah.
Steal from the rich, give to the poor, upset the social order, that kind of thing.
So he's hoping to put together a gang. They're like, these native guys are funny. They're the funniest part of the movie. It's like, well, Reggie can do a great impression of a white guy. Hey guys, let's play with our chest hair and eat potato chips. Yeah, so he cuts his hair and he resolves to go look for Frank.
He goes on his crime spree, as it were.
Yeah, he goes into town, drinks from a horse trough, And he isn't warmly greeted by William the banker, played by Chris
Parnell.
Parnell.
Everyone
Threatens to shoot him for being weird.
You can't drink from that horse trough. And he's like, well, where I'm from, a horse and a man can drink from the same kind of water. He's always got like this very wise Native American aspect to the way he talks.
Yes, yeah. While also switching in between this cowboy accent.
So an old lady, Esmeralda, she invites him in, says she knew his dad Frank in the biblical sense. I knew him on this railing twice and on that dresser you're leaning on.
And now we're
Nolte.
introduced to Nick Nolte's half Mexican son. What was his name?
Ramon.
Ramon, played by
Ramon
Rob
Lopez.
Schneider.
As it turns out, Nick Nolte gets around quite a bit in this movie. He's the horniest bandit you ever did see. And he has had relations with women of every race and profession all across the Old West. And
Sired many sons, not including Tommy.
as
He's
it
an
turns
equal
out,
opportunity nutbuster.
White Knife
Cream
has
pie.
brothers and sisters all across the Old West who will join him on his quest to,
Yeah, I mean, sounds like it'd be the makings of a fun movie.
yeah.
Where's the fun?
Well, much like
Vacant.
North, this is a movie that on paper you might mistake for being funny in some way, but when you're watching it, you'll realize, no, there's nothing funny
Yeah,
about
but there's no jokes. North
No.
had jokes.
it. Did you forget about the donkey diarrhea?
Here we
right
go.
there. So he meets Ramon.
They're introduced to each other. Tommy tells Ramon that they're brothers, and then the donkey shits. That's literally what fucking happens, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, we're supposed to die laughing from the riotous.
This is
Shitting up against
It looks like a practical effect, which I'll give it credit for that.
It's good splat. It looks like it's like a Hitchcock effect where he made the Hershey syrup for the stabbing in Psycho. It's like I'm sure they used actual Hershey syrup for the
Corn
donkey
syrup.
diarrhea.
I thought it looked like a Reagan puke
Oh yeah,
effect sprayer,
Yeah. There was some chunkiness,
but instead
to
of
it.
like green pea soup, it was like black donkey shit.
But yeah, Tommy meets Ramon, tells him about how they're gonna pull off this heist against Chris Parnell. Donkey shits.
Yeah.
But all the
Yeah.
brothers have some sort of secret talent.
That's
Ramon is his ability to control his burro to shit and do his bidding.
Yeah, his burro, not to be confused with a donkey, can diarrhea splat at a moment's notice.
Yeah. They go to the bank.
Like, why even be Rob Schneider? He doesn't do.
You don't need
anything.
him. You just need his
He
burro.
doesn't do it or say anything funny in this movie.
Yeah.
He's not even like trying to. He's just acting in a Mexican accent badly.
They couldn't get a self-respecting Mexican actor to get into this role. So yeah, the next best thing, some other one who's ethnically ambiguous can pull off accents.
You can do it. Hey, you can do diarrhea.
So they go to the
he
bank,
enters
but he
the
uses
bank with and he's like, get that donkey out of here. Get that donkey out of here.
But
And
you'll
White Knight-
admit, this was clever, the foreshadowing, because you saw the donkey diarrhea in the previous scene, and then in this scene, you're like, this donkey's ass could go off at a moment's notice.
Yeah, that's good
If-
writing.
if
They're really
anyone-
using all the parts of the buffalo to use a Hollywood
Yeah.
and Native American.
You look at
very good.
this donkey's ass the wrong way, it'll go off.
Meanwhile, Tommy's going up he's coming around the back kind of on
His
the side of the
special
bank.
ability is he can like jump with his two knives
Yeah.
and jump into walls up and down. He
Yeah.
can just
He's
He's
very acrobatic.
He's known as
mystical.
White Knife because he's got like 100 knives that he wears, and he can use them to climb walls. Or
And he
can,
happens to actually be Caucasian.
He's more, and he's white. He throws them more accurate than a gun can even shoot. He's the best with a knife.
How does he break the safe open?
I don't
Does he
know.
throw a knife at it?
Do we
That
remember?
seems like something he would do.
Because he ends up getting shot at by Chris Parnell, and then he breaks this the
Probably just like snapped it with his hands because he's superhuman. Like
because he uses the safe door to guard him from being shot at.
That's right. He uses like a Captain America
But he manages
shield.
to he steals all the money out of the safe, but he finds that there's a fucking clue written inside the safe to get him to that's going to take him to the next town. Waiting outside the bank and just being a general nuisance to the rest of this fucking picture. Taylor Lautner, who is played
Gum, that fella fell on his pooper.
yeah, because what this film needed was
Yeah.
I can only put it as a Forrest Gump type character.
He's got like a Forrest Gump style voiceover narration that he does from time to time. Where
Dear Mama.
we all learn to be brothers together real good. He's the slow brother.
Technically, there's 2 slow brothers.
Yeah, one wasn't funny enough. We have to
Yeah.
put 2 in. He's always writing letters to his mama, and it's like, don't you think, Mama? Mama? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm writing you a letter and stuff
And he
like
keeps
Yeah.
talking about how he's been fucking a cantaloupe
that. Yeah.
and wants to ask his dad, who they all find out that it's Nick Nolte. He wants to know
How does babies get
how do
born?
babies, or do they just pooped out? They just poop them out.
This is the level of... This is the level of comedy. Like, this is shit I came up with when I was in kindergarten.
It feels like it's written by someone in junior high.
Like going through the notes for this is the closest experience I've had to just trying to like write down a peyote trip or something. And then Wyatt Earp comes, and then Mark Twain does a break dance, and then it's just a random stream of consciousness.
Yeah, there is some sort of plot, but it just goes into scene, into scene, into scene.
It's like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then Mark Twain came, and then Wyatt Earp came.
It is, and this happened. And this happened. Did we say that Burrow shit on Chris Parnell and it launched him pretty far?
Oh,
and
it did,
his
didn't it?
body
That was
went
the second
flying?
shit.
The foreshadowing
Yeah,
right.
paid off because now you actually see
So
Burrow
it
in
shit
action.
it shit
shitting.
against the barnyard wall, and then shit on Chris Parnell.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
But then we're not even
Brilliant.
done yet with the donkey, because then we cut to them heading. They make off with the loot from that bank, and they go into the next town. Correct? So
They're
So the
accumulating wealth.
Left Eye gang is recruiting Steve Zahn. Meanwhile,
who get it? Yeah, they
And
get
their
him to
whole
rip
thing
out
is
his eye.
they pluck out their right eye so they can see with their left. So they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you got to
that's right.
pluck out your eye." And he's like, "But that's my good eye. Can I take out the other one?" They're like, "No."
He's a goofy-eyed son of a bitch. He's got the Paul Giamatti holdovers thing going on, where you're not sure which eye to look
But
at.
the Netflix version of that, as opposed to the really good
CGI.
Yeah, and they're like in a cave, and he puts out his eye
With a
it's
spoon.
Kind of funny. You
Yeah.
see the eye hanging on by like the nerve end and whatever, and everybody's like trying not to throw up, and they're all disgusted.
Yeah, you see him in silhouette with his eye just bobbing there, and then he plucks it right out and screams, and he's like, "God, I can still kind of see out of my bad eye."
It's almost funny. It's Will Forte and Steve Zahn.
the only 2 redeeming people in this whole fucking movie.
So Lil Pete and all them,
Oh,
they ride
right, yeah,
out
there's
to
like
Jawbone Falls, and they go to this cabin, and they're ambushed by somebody, and it turns out it's a big, giant, mute moonshiner.
A mountain man.
He's like a feral person.
Who's doing his best fucking Adam Sandler impersonation?
He's the second
Who's the dude from
mentally challenged character.
Who's the dude from Lost? He's the biggin from Lost.
Jorge
okay.
Garcia. I
Yeah,
think
Jorge
is his name.
Garcia.
Oh shit, Jorge.
He's a mute, and he begins to tell his tale through some sort of savage sign language that he is the son of Frank Stockburn. His mom
Yeah.
is a moonshiner in the mountains who got fucked by him and drank a lot of whiskey and birthed out this humanoid who ends up
And it's-
joining the brothers.
That's Herm. Yeah, then the Left Eye gang, they kidnap White Knight's girlfriend, Smoking Fox, making all kinds of racially sensitive jokes. Now we're in the barber shop.
Right.
This is we got Steve Buscemi. He's the barber.
Mr. Pink, man. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
He's a dentist. He's a doctor, and he's a veterinarian.
This is his great Charlie Chaplin scene. Like Charlie Chaplin plays a barber in The Dictator. This is Steve Buscemi doing his Charlie Chaplin. He's rubbing special creams on them. He like looks at the mountain man's genital sores, and he's like, "Oh, you need this kind of cream," and rubs the cream on him, and then he rubs that cream on Rob Schneider's face.
Has to shave him. Then takes the rest of the cream and shoves it up the fucking donkey's ass.
Yeah, he's got his finger up there in the donkey's ass, and then he takes that out and puts it in Taylor Lautner's mouth.
Yeah, and then puts it on his own lips.
Oh, my goodness.
He offers it to Adam Sandler for his lips, for his
Yeah.
use of lips.
But Chandler's too cool.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'll use that. And then Mr. Pink puts it on his own lips, and that's
This cream. It's quite disgusting.
I saw the joke coming from a mile away, too.
I was surprised they actually went for it. but that's how brave this.
But he also
movie is.
offers exposition onto the major fucking commercial bit in this whole fucking movie, the Golden Nugget. Sandler's literally repping a fucking casino for God knows why. And he's talking about how the owner, Smiley, the proprietor and owner of this casino, and is actually quite treacherous despite his pleasant nature. And so the ridiculous four at this particular juncture, are about to fucking rob the casino and steal the notorious nugget that's located on the bar next to a bunch of thumbs that are attached nearby.
There is a twisted necklace made of human thumbs above it in case you get any Weisenheimer ideas and you want to get
They're
in
just
there.
asking for it to get stolen, really.
It's like a dare.
So we got Chico, Terry Crews. This is the first time we see him. He's singing a body tune on the piano. That's kind of delightful, I guess.
He's the bard of the group.
Yeah, he is.
As it'll turn out.
The great Terry Crews. Yeah, and then we meet Smiley, played by Harvey Keitel.
Mr. White, baby.
And he's always smiling.
And he introduces himself to the four, and Luke Wilson, that's when he pops up behind him, and he says he needs to talk about Frank Stockburn.
It's a happy coincidence that anywhere they go in this movie,
Fortuitous,
there's a Frank
serendipitous.
Stockburn connection there. Every town they stop in, every place they stop to take a piss, there's a Stockton child to join their group. And
What's Chico's? What's his fucking deal? Like, other than the fact that he can play piano really well, what does he want from his dad? Just to know him?
Does have some Wizard of Oz-esque thing where everybody wants something.
Everybody
from
wants
Frank.
some from the dad. Luke Wilson, who's one of the brothers, was a Secret Service.
For who? Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, and got Abe Lincoln killed because he was fanboying over fucking
Wow,
John
he-
Wilkes Booth, played by Chris Kattan.
he went to take a
That's kinda
shit.
funny.
He literally went to take a dump and said everything was going to be okay to Lincoln.
Yeah, for interrupting him, Smiley just like snaps on Luke Wilson and just beats the ever-loving shit out of him. He like smashes a bottle on his head, breaks a chair on him, throws him through a table.
All while holding his drink and not spilling a drop.
Yeah,
'cause he's
Luke
that great of a
Wilson's-
drunk.
Yeah, he's got the
And you
glass
find
of
out he's like
whiskey
actually a
never
crack
spoke.
shot
Well, his special ability for the group is that he can hold his breath
for 6 minutes.
For 6 minutes at a time.
Yeah, and he has the abilities of a Secret Service agent.
That's Danny. That's Luke Wilson. And then they're just like, how many fucking brothers do we have? If anybody else is this kid of Frank Stockburn, raise your
Raise
hand.
your
And then
hand.
Chico just raises his hand, and now he's in the group.
Nick Nolte got around.
But then they're hiding in a boxcar trying to plan how they're gonna fucking get the nugget.
They have a heist, but basically Adam Sandler jumps through from one rooftop into another window and then just starts making noise. And the guys who are downstairs in the Golden Nugget are like, "What's that? It sounds like there's someone up there." Like there's no stealth attempt made at all.
No,
Yeah,
they
there's-
try to get the nugget through the chimney, right?
yeah,
Their plans
the piano playing
stupid.
brother.
They have like a plan
B,
B. That's
yeah.
increasingly convoluted every time in this movie. It's kind of it's a funny seed of a joke, but there's no funny
No
execution.
delivery.
Yeah. Harvey Keitel, the owner of the Golden Nugget bar, he catches them red-handed and chases them out into the street. They kind of unleash some kind of Ewok trap that takes his head off, and but his body's still walking around firing
Firing
six
guns.
shooters.
That's not an Ewok trap.
Doesn't a big log come and
No,
take
no,
his
no,
head off?
no,
or something?
How does it happen again? How does he use his head?
Oh, well, the five of them are standing outside. He's like, got a gun. He's like, I've got you bastards now. I'm going to
Oh,
shoot
and then
all
Ramon-
five
Oh,
of
yeah.
you. You forgot about the six. And Ramon comes riding up on his donkey, hits him in the back of the head with a shovel.
Shovel,
His head
right?
flies
Takes
off.
his fucking head off.
Knocks his head clean
He's
off.
like, I didn't mean to take his head off. I just wanted to knock him out. And yeah, the headless
Moving
body's
around,
shooting.
firing guns.
It's
Okay.
even like shooting his own head. You see like a Harvey Keitel head on the
Yeah,
ground.
it
and
spins
it's getting
around and it's
shot.
still smiling.
Good physical.
It was but it was the only part I fucking laughed at in the movie. Was
Yeah.
that body fucking Frankensteining
But
around.
like the
shooting
Luke
guns.
Wilson not spilling his drink bit, that's like another
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that's equally
Yeah.
funny to me.
But no
like,
delivery.
It just looks so like cheap, shitty CGI. Like there was no impact to it.
Yeah, while I was watching that scene, the Luke Wilson not spilling his drink scene, I kept thinking of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs scene where he's doing the big bar fight in that movie. And just how
fucking
much
better,
more
yeah.
genius that is.
yeah.
They should have just copied that guy's homework.
They should, copied the Coen brothers' homework from a movie that came out a couple years later. Also produced by Netflix.
Yes, yeah, it's a Netflix
Could have
release.
put that one up against Ridiculous Six. That would probably make more sense.
So it's after this, they start celebrating. They sing an Adam Sandler written song about meeting their dad in a campfire bit.
I figured
Every
this,
Western,
this
I
was
suppose.
a Sandler song.
It was,
They
yeah, I
had
looked it
their
up.
little acoustic jam session.
I do want to just go back to that scene with Smiley. They open up one of the doors upstairs, and there's Norm Macdonald.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
his
yeah,
last-
he's got his
That was his
cameo.
last appearance on film. He's got a little
Was that one
cameo.
from
He's
2015?
banging some oars.
Yeah, it's a...
Ladies, why don't you start taking off your clothes and punching me in the face, huh? And that's it.
The next part, this is where they're all bathing in the river and they get waylaid by the left-eyed gang, right?
Yeah, did we bring up the 3 nipples?
No, not yet. No.
Taylor Lautner has 3 nipples in this picture.
Shabo. Habadoo.
Man, I finally understand the genius of Adam Sandler doing this episode where I'm like, I have nothing really to say about Ridiculous Six, but at any moment just fall into a shabada. He's really genius.
You're all forgetting
he has to
Opera
go-
Man.
He has to talk like this, baby talk, and then go right to a fucking song.
That could have been brought to my attention
Yesterday.
I really am baffled by the existence of this movie. Like, I had to think about its 2-hour running time. Like, who is this for? I guess, like, for a Netflix audience, they expect that people are just going to sit there and just watch whatever dumb shit is on. It's really nothing. It's like AI art.
Well, it is like you said, it's like an AI put this together. They're like, okay, we need
Western tropes.
yeah, for Adam Sandler comedy, we need 3 diarrhea jokes spaced at 25-minute mark, 45-minute mark, and hour 30-minute mark. Comedy Bod has determined this is the optimal diarrhea placement in this movie.
I'm just looking up the writings. Oh, Omega 1 is one of them.
Diarrhea targeting.
Taylor Lautner has 3 nipples. 3 nipples.
That's his talent.
That's funny. Lots of people have third nipples.
That's the AI short circuiting. There's something wrong with the AI.
So what happens next?
What happens now is a long scene that has no bearing on the plot and goes nowhere and just eats up a whole bunch of time. We get another great American actor, John Turturro.
He's the best part of this movie for me. I thought he was the funniest, but this scene was a scene where I was like, no, we don't need this scene at all. We can shave a good 15 minutes off this movie if you guys get rid of this scene. But
Yeah, I can't believe it wasn't cut out. But, I mean, if you had Conan O'Brien in there doing his old-timey baseball shtick, that would have been funny.
he's got the great classic remote where he does the old-timey
like
baseball.
Turturro plays this like English dude.
He's the guy who invented baseball. I
Right.
think that's a real guy. He's got a
Okay.
bunch of Chinese guys. He says he'll help them find Frank if they help him try out his new game, Dickie McSchnickens.
And he basically invents baseball. You need 2 outs, and then the man is knocked out of the game, and then he gets 2 outs, and he's like,
fucking
oh,
crazy.
actually, you need 3 outs.
You're basically making the rules apply to his benefit.
Yeah, which is like a hacky 80s stand-up comedy bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's basically stretched out into this whole sketch. And then he gets hit with the ball. Oh, hitting me with the ball
It's a
also
run to
gets me to first base.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, shut up, shortstop. That's your new nickname, shortstop.
Shortstop.
Like the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
if you don't throw the ball this high or yay low, then that's also an out.
Or a ball.
Rule by rule goes through the rules of baseball, and they
And
invented
stealing
here.
bases.
I
Oh,
know.
you weren't looking. Like,
it's such a hacky comedy bit to
But
be
this
like,
was all-
this is the arbitrary silliness of the rules of baseball. And then finally they're like, okay, well, that's halftime, boys, break. And they're like, we played 9 innings. Isn't that enough?
yeah,
Isn't that enough? Isn't that enough?
this is all to disservice the plot of what exactly?
Nothing. It's just
He gives them a
comedy
clue
sketch.
to get them to the next thing.
From thing to thing, they keep finding clues where it's like, okay, now you have to go to the gold nugget, now you have to go to the whistling rock, now you have to go to the singing windmill.
Wait, what part is where Lautner, little Pete, gets hung and then he like dances?
This is just like, there's not a lot of explanation, but they're doing a heist, and that's part of the distraction. Lil Pete's like, I have a really strong neck. You can hang me and I won't die. Yeah,
Yeah.
hanging him, and so the whole village is gathered to see him hang, and he's like,
Yeah, and he just swings back and forth like a pendulum.
yeah, they like steal whatever the loot, and they drag him. They like grab his rope, cut it, and like just drag him along behind the wagon, and he's like,
And they get away with it.
real good,
Right.
brothers.
Then they go bathing in that river, and then they get waylaid by the
Left Eye Gang.
Yeah, Left Eye Gang. They steal all their loot.
where we see Danny, that's Luke Wilson. He pops out of the water for some reason really fast, and he's like a crack shot, but it's not good enough. The gang still gets away.
It's because he could hold his breath for 6
minutes.
All of this.
This whole thing, they've been needing to come up with $50,000 in order to bail out Nick Nolte with his Cicero gang,
Right.
And they've got it now. But now the Left Eye Gang, Will Forte's Left Eye Gang, makes off with the $50,000, so they have to collect another $50,000, and they plan
Through
on
the poker game.
They're gonna rob
fuck.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, Herm, the mute guy, he like
Comedy genius bit with Herm describing.
Right, yeah, he says well, we can win it by gambling.
yeah, he
well,
says
he's-
we go see Ezekiel Grant, and yeah, he's
And of
hosting
course,
a poker game in
Hearn's doing like hand motions, and they're like, I think they're doing the Scooby-Doo bit, like, oh, Hearn says there's some money to be had at the poker game with Ezekiel kind of thing. And,
So we cut to this fortress, and it has like heavily armed guards everywhere.
yeah, but
And
White
now we-
Knife is so good.
Yeah.
He's got his like his mystical shit that he likes to pull.
Well, he
or-
transforms into Tumbleweed to sneak in, but he gets Ramon and Chico and Herm to go in first to pose as gamblers, or as valets to Ramon, who's posing as a gambler.
This is a big
Yeah.
deal game for a bunch of hot shits, and he makes Lopez, Rob Schneider's Mexican character, is pretending to be a bean farmer.
Right.
And he's like, this is my companions. Chimichanga is the mountain man. And Chimichanga and Blanco Birrio. That's Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, and John Lovitz is the guy running the game, and you know his lady is Whitney Cummings, the comedian. Oh, Susanna, you know what gift I'd really like if you would just shut up.
Yeah, he just...
Nothing ruins a poker game more than a lady jabbering on and on.
No real joke attached to that.
There's no joke.
Just,
You're just supposed to see John
ladies
Lovitz.
sure are blabbermouths.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then you're introduced to the other half of this fucking quote unquote scene and joke. David Spade as General Custer, Vanilla Ice as Mark Twain.
This was
and fucking Blake Shelton as Wyatt Earp.
This is the most misguided scene in the movie.
For a movie full of misguided scenes, yes.
What compelled them to make Mark Twain like a hip hop rap guy in this? It doesn't make sense. The only thing I could
Well,
think
it's
is
Vanilla Ice, and
Well,
Vanilla Ice is one of
funny.
Sandler's buddies. He's a bunny.
Wait, this was actually Vanilla Ice?
Yeah, he's
like
white.
real Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, he's white in the wintertime and brown in the
Every time you've said that, I thought you were just making a commentary on the fact that Mark Twain was acting like Vanilla Ice.
No,
And
it's-
I
it's
didn't
Vanilla
realize that it
Ice.
was really Vanilla Ice.
Rob
That's,
Van Winkle.
yeah.
Of ninja rap.
Go ninja,
Go ninja,
Nanja,
go ninja, go.
So yeah, we have Spade in this scene and Lovitz, and they're not getting to score at all. The whole scene is focused pretty much on fucking Vanilla Ice,
And
who's
I
just acting like Vanilla Ice in a Mark Twain costume. It's so unfunny.
Like when Rob Schneider walks in at one point, John Lovitz gets to lean into somebody and be like, oh, look, a lazy Mexican. Okay, yeah, just nothing in the scene works.
Shelton, for his part, he kind of looks good to be in a Western. He's playing it pretty straight as Wyatt Earp. He's
Yeah.
like intimidating. Like they're genuinely
Yeah.
fucking scared. The cuckoo clock goes off and he immediately pulls his pistol and blows the little cuckoos to pieces, right?
And they're supposed to give some sort of signal.
Yeah, you have to do the Home Alone face. So Ezekiel's telling this long story about how he humiliated this woman. It was Herm, the big mute guy, and his mother.
Yeah,
He's
his
like-
mom, right?
He's like, oh, she was ugly. Even you wouldn't sleep with her, you big dumb oaf. He's like pointing.
She had a mentally challenged son who came out and sang the Star Spangled Banner, and I hit him in the face with some coins and knocked his teeth out. You see like Hearn's toothless grin. You're like, oh, there's some unfinished business to settle here.
Herm takes him to the back when he's getting a drink and fucks him up. And Diego's like losing his shit. Yeah, he's doing the signal, and it's the Home Alone face, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's doing that.
Oh, yeah, and David Spade makes a horrific Home Alone joke here. Do you guys remember specifically what it was? It's something like, hey, you're acting like a guy who's home and alone. It's like, it's so bad.
He quite literally name drops the other film.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining the joke.
Yeah, Chris Columbus should have directed this.
So glad we got David Spade in there to deliver that.
Remember when he puts the aftershave on?
Like, how hungover was Spade when he showed up to this role? They're like, okay, here's your costume, Spade. Get into it. What are my lines? Okay. Like, he didn't even
General
fucking
Custer.
do anything
Yeah.
to make this funnier.
Bare minimum. Don't call me custard. I'm not a dessert. So then what happens?
I'm just getting angrier.
And Sandler turns into fucking...
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how good Earp is. White Knife gets a drop on him and they rob him, and that's
right.
fucking it.
And that's it. Then they get the money.
Of course, Adam Sandler's there, and he's the best.
Turns
Yeah.
into tumbleweed.
Is this where he makes like the spooky dolls appear for Wyatt Earp? Like he'll do like creepy stuff where he pretends to be a ghost.
Okay, what the fuck was that?
No, that was,
I, like,
that was from
tripping
the
out?
Smiley. That was from the Smiley bit.
What was that?
I don't know.
I was like, what am I looking at?
He does
That was part of their
he does some
complicated
mystical
plan.
shit.
Place into The Shining. or
Yeah.
something.
That's part of his mystical powers that subdues Smiley into getting distracted so they can steal the nugget.
That's
Where's the fucking joke?
It's gone. It's not a joke. It's not there.
Sometimes he likes to pull some Batman stuff where he's hiding in the shadows, and he at one point he throws flour in people's faces like a ninjutsu powder, and
That was at the beginning of the movie
disappear
when
into
he shoots
that.
when he stabs the fucking flower and it goes everywhere. And
he's
beats
got
everybody
mystical
up.
ninja stuff.
They get the money from the fucking poker game.
I'll tell you what happens. There's still 30 minutes left to the movie.
Oh god.
So they come across the Left Eye Gang, and they're buried neck deep in the ground. They each have like increasingly shitty things happening to them.
Yeah, one guy, Steve Zahn's got ants. There's
Yeah.
a crow pecking at one guy.
The other guy's got like a lizard crawling into his nose and
Right.
like out his ear and shit.
Some snakes like
Yeah.
wrapped around one of the
Will Forte's got the
Yeah.
python around his
Yeah.
neck.
Rattlesnake. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
but they
"Don't
agree.
leave
But
us
they
here."
agree to.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, we'll never tell you where it is. And then they're like, okay, we'll just leave you here. And then Forte's like, I'll be good, Daddy. I'll be good. Doing his classic Forte bit where, I'll fuck you, you can fuck me, I can suck your dick. Just tell me
what you want me to fuck. But yeah, they agree to get the Left Eye Gang because they got waylaid by Cicero.
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. They agree to the stipulation to be good, and then they'll dig him out, which they do. Then it cuts to the Nick Nolte part, but he leaves everybody behind, right?
Yeah, so the gang's all sleeping, and he leaves them a note, and
I couldn't live with myself if something happened to one of you. If I don't make it back, know that I love you boys with all my heart.
is the gist of it.
He's going into danger with the $50,000, and
Right.
he doesn't want to put his hillbilly brother or his other mentally challenged brother at risk.
His multicultural family.
Yeah, exactly. Every demographic represented. So he's flying into battle on his
this
own.
is supposed to be funny, this movie.
Right.
This part. I'm supposed to be...
Except any scenes with Adam
like,
Sandler.
I don't smoke weed anymore. I understand they make like very strong cannabis now. I don't know if there's a strain strong enough to make this shit funny or watchable.
That's what I smoked a big old reefer, and I was just laughing and drooling, and I crapped my pants while I was watching.
Did you shit have to be pants shittingly dumb?
Did you shit across the fucking wall like the donkey did?
I got some opium. What was the hardest shit available to cowboys back then?
Laud them.
Yeah. I was stumbling into walls and shit. I was like, Adam Sandler.
I saw like a picture of Elvis's prescription from his doctor. Somebody like posted it on
God.
Twitter the other day, and they're like, "I'm gonna fucking drop this off at Rite Aid and see if someone fills it." And it's like Quaaludes, 100 milligrams, Percodan, 100 milligrams, like
Just a literal brick
like
of prescription
meth.
medicine.
It's like,
And people wonder why he died on a toilet.
yeah, fucking opium, fucking cannabis, like all of it, just the cocktail.
Did Elvis die in Graceland or in Vegas?
I think in Vegas. I think
Was it
he
in
was
Vegas?
he was doing a series of big Vegas shows.
Right,
If
but he
I
died on a
remember,
toilet, though.
Buzz Luhrmann's Elvis correctly.
Yeah, I didn't like that Elvis movie. I'd still rather watch it than this, but oh man, that movie's a
almost done.
drag too.
It was all the big scam. Adam Sandler kind of figured that.
Whoa, wait
I
a
don't
minute.
think-
We're missing a very important dick joke when they find one of the landmarks and it's a giant hog.
yeah.
Remember?
How could I forget the giant?
Very important.
There's a great what do you call these? Like a dune, like a hoodoo. Dune
Yeah.
In the desert.
It's supposed to be a giant penis, but everyone keeps calling it a hog like a Trump supporter.
It's shaped just like a penis. And Adam Sandler's like, I like the big hog, and Taylor Lautner's like, hog. Why do they keep calling the rock that looks like a penis like it's a hog? He wises up to it that it's slang for a penis. So pretty good.
I think I was like astral projecting or something because I don't remember that scene at all.
They go and look at it.
You know, they've been looking for this singing windmill for the whole movie, but somehow it led them to this giant penis rock formation.
Yeah.
So, man's hubris against nature, I guess. That's the
You're being oddly philosophical.
The
for a
ultimate
fucking movie
theme
that
of
has
this movie.
no philosophy.
This is the foolishness of man.
He tries to fight the penis rock.
The unknowable, terrible chaos
Truth.
of nature. Nothing but sheer hatred.
Nothing but a
Disgusting
donkey's
beauty.
diarrhea. Shooting across a room.
Such is a metaphor for life. Where's Herzog when you fucking need him?
Can you imagine just drowning in donkey diarrhea like
Having
that?
Werner Herzog narrate it? That wouldn't be too bad.
What a way to
actually.
go.
Okay, so we cut right to the big meeting.
Because he goes up to Cicero and he says he's got the loot. Yeah, and I'm like, what is he, dumb?
Recognizes it.
Did he actually bring the loot with him? And he gives the loot over to Cicero.
Yeah.
Tells Frank that Cicero's the guy that killed his mom. And then Cicero just draws and shoots. White Knife throws a knife through the bullet and into Cicero's skull, quickly dispatching Danny Trejo and avenging his mom, right?
White
But the brothers show up to back him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the gang all draws guns, and the left,
The left
eye
eye,
gang.
they come in, turn face.
So now you've got a good 10 guys on one side.
So I'm
fighting
like,
there.
sweet, are we finally actually going to get some action in this movie? No.
Hey, a man's entitled to kill his mother's killer. Besides, it's one less guy you gotta split the money with.
And Cicero's gang is like, yeah, I guess you're right. And they just ride off. They're like,
Good
fuck
thinking,
'em.
Frank, and they fuck off. They're each introduced. Each of the brothers are introduced to their father,
Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
and he gives them like a little bit of sage-like advice and
Yeah,
tells
it's
them how
like
much
the
he's
Wizard
gonna
of
hang out.
Oz.
Yeah.
He's like,
Ah, Chico, you got your mom's muscles.
and like, Lil Pete's like,
That's terrible.
hey, Dad, where do babies come from?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Women poop them out.
And it's like, Dad, can you? Or Luke Wilson's like, Dad, can you give me advice about failing to save the president?
Well, shut up.
Or like he goes to Chico's like, well, we'll play some piano sometime.
With their penises.
It was nice to meet your burrow.
he's
And then-
kind of trying. He can't not try. I fucking love Nick Nolte.
He elevates everything he's in.
And then Tommy's like, you got to stick around. But he's like, I'm gonna get married. You need to stand by me as my best man. He's like, well, I can do that. And then Cicero's gang returns.
Well, it's the whole
Yeah.
Adam Sandler and his men lost that $50,000 to the Left Eye Gang earlier, but now that they've rescued the Left Eye Gang out of a hole in the ground,
Right.
they have that extra
extra
50
$50,000,
grand.
yeah.
And now you start to see the shoe on the other foot with Nick Nolte's character,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, you still got $50,000 more dollars? Well, maybe I'll whistle my boys back in." And it turns out, yeah, he was working with Cicero the entire time.
yeah.
But yeah, Danny Trejo and him, they're
captured
plotting.
Smoking Fox, so they got her at gunpoint.
And then it breaks into fucking a bullshit
And
gunfight.
of course, the bag they gave Cicero had a bomb in it, so it blows.
Yeah, that's right.
Immediately after watching The Wild Bunch, boy, does this look like shit. God damn it, it couldn't be any further from The Wild
It's
Bunch.
so crappy. You find out that the Left Eye Gang all have their both eyeballs and just trick Steve Zahn into
Yeah, they
taking
just
they're a
like
bunch
take
of
off their eye
posers.
patches and
But it's a big shootout between their gang and Cicero's gang, or in fact Frank Stockburn's gang.
Yeah.
There's the melee that goes into the fucking mine.
Yeah, this is another kind of a reverse Batman scene because Nick Nolte's hiding in the shadows of this mine.
I was born in the dark.
You only surrendered to it.
I never knew sunlight until I was a man. By then it was blinding to me. Fuck. You think darkness is your ally.
You should have been fucking Dunvane's voice, man. That'd have been awesome.
Man, it's the scariest mine shaft fight we've seen in a long time.
And it's all done in complete and utter darkness.
Yeah,
Like there's what, like close to 2 minutes of just pure darkness. That
it's
you're
like
that you're looking at?
impossible to fucking see.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how to light a movie anymore.
Yeah, until he Adam Sandler lights the lantern, and you remember there's a part where it's just the three of them, Little Pete, Ramon, and Adam Sandler, and he doesn't kill the fly that's bothering them in the campfire, and he's talking about how a true hunter uses all of his senses, and he uses that same fucking technique, his mystic shit that
Nick Nolte even calls it mystic.
Yeah.
and fucking uses his knives to trap him in the mine. Or like, you know, like
He
that
throws
movie
them like the
pins them to
knives
the
through
wall.
the dark.
strategically, yeah, and then like,
Stick around.
you find out that he got Danny Trejo to kill Adam Sandler's mom because she was gonna rat on the gang. Adam Sandler's like, my real dad taught me not to kill
Screaming
anybody.
Eagle.
Yeah, Screaming Eagle taught me not to kill anybody, so he doesn't exact vengeance.
It's
You don't
beautiful.
kill your father, Tommy.
'Cause of
You can't
real
leave me
men.
like this. Tommy, no! Tommy!
Man, Nick Nolte actually wells up and he's crying in this scene, and I was like, he's amazing.
This movie's so much more
This
than
just
it
elevated
deserves.
this movie.
How about a joke? Huh? A joke there might have been good. No, it's supposed to be a comedy, I thought. So we get to the wedding. That's pretty much the movie. We see a wedding, and Mark Twain's leading the tribe in the Ice Ice Baby dance. I find
Or
that
something
really
too,
funny
yeah.
that you didn't know who that was. Man.
Yeah,
Even
bitch,
after
come
I
on,
said
man.
it to you like 9 times.
Yeah, we literally talked about it.
Well, I was going through in my head, like, okay, what's the joke here? Why are they making Vanilla Ice? Oh, well, in the Mark Twain stories, he uses N-words, and I was like, are they trying to make like a meta joke where because Mark Twain uses N-words
He's a
in his
brother?
work, he's like a
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking like several levels above what the actual joke was, which was just Vanilla Ice is in the movie. Apparently, that's the
But
joke.
You're just way too smart to even understand this movie.
And
you
we're
can't
Jim.
get down to its level.
So almost all the good guy characters show up for this wedding, and that's the end. And then it's done in narration.
Screaming
with,
Eagles adopted the whole 6. Lil Pete.
Right.
And
writing the
actually,
letter.
isn't this the same ending as the ending of Killers of the Flower Moon, where there's like a big powwow dance scene kind of thing, and the camera?
Not quite.
It's like,
No, I don't think it's that
Well,
quite close.
no,
funny
I
how
mean,
they're-
it's a bunch of people doing the Running Man in this one.
There's nothing ceremonial about this at all.
Yeah, there wasn't like an Osage ceremony.
Yeah.
like
Same
in Killers of the Flower Moon.
And that's the
Similar movies.
two
though.
equally good movies that examine the Native American experience.
Any crossover in actors?
Nobody.
Yeah, it's too
Pretty
bad.
sure Buscemi? No.
Wow, I think that's a little black mark in Martin Scorsese's eye, right there.
So we never need to watch this again, right? To preface, I'm sorry.
Oh, you will watch it
Because this
again.
was my fucking idea, and I apologize.
You're on the hook.
This is like when you're like in line for the pearly gates at the end of your life. This is what they'll be showing you now because of this. They'll be like,
On my list of fucking regrets and sins committed, it's going to be this one.
you'll have to rewatch this again and again, Josh.
That's my inferno. What level of hell is that?
Please keep sodomizing me with the hot poker. Anything but this fucking movie.
Yeah, please, for the love of fuck's sakes. Oh my god.
If I could say one good thing about your pick, I imagine most of our audience has seen it, which is more than I can say about some of the other movies we cover. They'll probably be like, oh, I saw that. I liked it. I had a nice time watching a movie and like
These
sitting
high and
there.
low
It
guys
was a
are
Wednesday
jerks.
and like I smoked a joint and ate
Yeah.
some fucking chips and like I
There was-
enjoyed myself watching a movie.
Do you think more
What's
people?
their problem?
Do you think more people have seen Ridiculous Six over the Wild Bunch?
From our audience? Yeah, probably.
Oh god, that's depressing.
Sadly enough, yeah.
I mean, I saw the Ridiculous 6 before I saw Wild Bunch.
But this was the first time you've seen it.
No, I saw most of Ridiculous 6 already, but I watched it out of.
Really?
I wasn't like, oh, this will be fun. I watched it because I was curious about how bad it was.
I've been avoiding this movie for 8 years.
Yeah, I'm a bad movie guy. I like to appreciate the bad with the good.
As we all are, but like I've straight up avoided this movie for
Yeah,
fucking
it's too
8
bad.
years.
It's too bad.
And like I'm so sorry I chose it.
As you guys know, I am a donkey diarrhea completionist. Every movie that has donkey diarrhea, I want to see. So
Oh, we
this
forgot.
is-
There's the final third diarrhea joke. They're being not indoctrinated, but they're being shown the Apache ways, and they're like carving out, whittling out animals. And then the one guy that's
right.
showing them moves the tail of his thing, and
He's carved a donkey, and
it's
it makes
squirting
a
shit.
diarrhea squirt.
And that's the-
that's good.
That's the last. You needed that trifecta of diarrhea donkey
Hilarious.
joke.
There is also a joke earlier where Rob Schneider, the donkey makes a fart while they're camped out for the night, but it's a dry fart, and he's like, "Oh, it's a dry fart. It means the weather will be dry tomorrow." Or something.
Right.
Genius.
The donkey's bowel movement is some meteorological miracle.
Pretty much the only joke Rob Schneider delivers in the movie, and that's the caliber that it's of. It's,
They got Luke Wilson, who at
genuinely
this point in his
depressing.
career will fucking do anything.
but, I mean, he's been in some good things.
Yeah.
He could have had promise at one point.
But yeah, and then he's just like, he's in CW shows as playing superheroes and shit.
Fell in with Adam Sandler and fell in with the CW crowd.
It's like,
I don't know what's up with my little brother Lou. It's not that good.
Oh,
Wow.
and
yeah, and next thing you know, that guy's just fucking living on Disney money.
he did the Shanghai Nights and the Shanghai Noon with Jackie Chan, so he's got his cowboy credentials.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. Man, that's 2 hours I'll never get back. Ever,
2
ever.
hours.
2 delightful hours.
Sorry, we're all kind of shell shocked. we fucking talked the crap out of talked the shit out of fucking Wild Bunch and loved it, and then we had to fucking try to speed through
It's
Ridiculous Six and fucking load it.
I worry we didn't do Wild Bunch justice. I think it's a really fucking great movie. Why don't we just go into our final thoughts, guys? Mitch, you want to start?
well, these were 2 of the rootinest, tootinest cowboy movies I ever did darn see.
In the
But
Wild Wild West.
Sam Peckinpah was pretty good, but as a donkey diarrhea completionist, I gotta say I've never quite seen a donkey diarrhea like I saw in Ridiculous Six. So I give it 2 donkey tails way up and say, way to go, Ridiculous Six.
Way erect. Damn you, Mitchell. Damn you.
But yeah, Wild Bunch was okay too.
You man.
Luke?
Oh, on a scale of why, when you're making trash like Ridiculous Six, don't you throw in some real violence and tits? Like, what happened to making a bad movie bad but fun?
Yeah.
Like, make it fun.
And Netflix can get away with that. They
Yeah.
get away with crazy shit on their
You could
TV.
put whatever you want on there. You
Yeah.
had to fucking make dumb poke hot tits jokes.
They're not
Fucking showing like hardcore. I want to see some dicks. I want to see fucking heads exploding.
Yeah.
Like,
Rob Schneider's mother should be a Hondo whore.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying.
yeah, like I just am so disappointed. I really think audiences deserve better than that fucking shit. I'm mad, but not in a fun way like I was with North. I think this might be worse than North.
It
North
feels lazy. It feels like
lazy
it's
film.
really
lazier.
lazy.
North was trying.
Yeah, North wanted to be a good movie at least, even
Yeah.
if it failed spectacularly.
This is so cynical. It's just
they can get away with
it's
anything.
insulting.
Yeah.
I really, really fucking hate that movie.
It could be the worst movie we've done on the podcast so far.
I
Really.
think it is
Jesus.
number one with a bullet now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, Wild Bunch is fucking amazing. It's amazing to look at. It was a great night out with the boys just to sit and back and watch it. I can't wait to watch it again. Yeah, it fucking rips.
just not quite
Yeah.
enough diarrhea.
So
but
anyway, my pick is on a,
just
now, on a
imagine.
scale from 1 to a Mexican titty, I give it to the movie that has tits in it, Wild Bunch.
Spoken like a red-blooded male.
There was hardly one
Fucking
scene
duh.
of diarrhea in.
Which
You'll
disappoints
admit.
you.
There was
to no end,
there was
Mitchell.
titties.
Hurts your feelings a bit, does
You
it?
know, are we rating on a scale of titties or are we rating on a scale of donkey diarrhea? That's the real question.
And everybody in Ridiculous Six looks like they moisturize. I want to see people with faces that look like they've been fucking rubbing them with 40 grit sandpaper for 30 years.
They've been living in dust.
Actual
fucking A.
characters.
Oh man, they
Real
just don't make
characters.
them like that.
Real
anymore.
motivations.
Ernest
Yeah.
Borgnine.
Wild Bunch, obviously, my pick. I'm not even fucking around on this.
Well, for me, Ridiculous Six is an exercise in futility.
It made you reevaluate life.
Yeah, like I
Question your morals.
Yeah, I've said it before already.
God is dead. You screamed at the night sky.
Were you just saying in the break comedy might be dead because of this fucking movie? And that's 8 years ago this fucking film came out.
Comedy is dead.
I felt like I didn't know what to do with myself after watching it. After watching Ridiculous Six, and
You like stood on your apartment balcony looking over.
I howled at the moon.
Sharon was like, Josh, step away from there.
Don't ever tell me what to do. Don't ever tell me what to do. I'm in this mess. So I'm gonna try my best to forget that I watched it. But it's almost haunting in that aspect. So it'll be a long go. But like going back to we've got a long
You've
road
got
to
to rebuild
recovery.
yourself.
Long road to recovery. But The Wild Bunch, man, that's near perfect a film as one can make, and it stresses the point of they just don't make them like they used to, man. They just fucking don't. You can't make a movie like that anymore.
Yeah.
There's rumors that they are remaking that movie.
It's almost surprising that it hasn't been done, just because it's very ill-advised.
I think it's locked up in rights, but apparently out of the three principal cast members are going to be, as of now, as what I've looked at in IMDb, is Michael Fassbender, Jamie Foxx, who replaced Will Smith in one of the roles, and fucking Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Dinklage would be great.
You think so in The Wild Bunch?
Yeah.
that would definitely be a wild
But
bunch.
is there a director attached?
Mel Gibson, but he dropped out to do Passion of the Christ 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Seriously?
I'm not even joking.
Oh yeah.
Man, Gibson would have been good.
It would have been raw. Well, I think he's in the midst. He's doing P of C 2 and fucking Lethal Weapon 5.
Oh Jesus.
God, who would you tap to do a Wild Bunch sequel right now? Who's working?
Give it to the guy who did the Bone Tomahawk and the Dragged Across
Oh yeah,
Concrete.
as Craig Zoller.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
modern exploitation-y guy.
Fucking A, that'd be sweet. Yeah. I mean, it would be a different movie. Just
Yeah.
Who's the dudes doing fucking Deadpool now and John Wick? I don't know if they can do a fucking Western. Those guys are more like Tim Miller. Those guys are more competent in making fucking modern action movies.
yeah.
I don't know. You fucking pin. I go with what Mitch said.
Yeah, we'd probably end up with some boring kind of hack.
It will
like
be.
Antoine Fuqua or something. He did that
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven
fuck.
remake. I never saw it.
It's okay. It's fun. It's a cute movie.
Some kind of car commercial
cute, eh?
director.
It is. It's fun. It's all right. Like
Fuqua's
David Ayer, the guy who fucking did Training Day.
Oh yeah.
And
Fuqua was Training Day.
Oh, you're right. David Ayer wrote it. He fucking did Suicide Squad, the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
God.
So what are we covering next week there, Mitch?
We sure had us a bunch of fun in the old Wild West this week.
We sure did. Pass the beans.
You got worse diarrhea than a Mexican burro over there. But next week we'll be seeing we'll take a trip to where the Celestials hang out over in the old Far East.
In the land of the rising sun, gentlemen. I'm not going to do any Japanese accents for you, so don't worry about it.
Why are you doing that with your eyes, Josh?
Yeah,
I look like this.
that's real inappropriate. But yeah, next week we're going to take a look at a couple of kaiju movies from the Far East. The first one being the ultimate kaiju movie from Ishiro Honda, Godzilla from the 1950s. A powerful metaphor for nuclear destruction from the atomic-powered West. And North Korea's answer to Godzilla, Pulgasari, where Kim Jong-il kidnapped a couple of South Korean filmmakers and basically forced them to make a movie, and they made Pulgasari.
From what year?
This would have been in the early 80s.
I can't wait.
Kidnapped
Where can we
dudes to make
find
a
this
movie?
movie?
I have a feeling this one's on YouTube. Good old Pulgasari. So yeah,
I can't fucking wait.
That-
It's
it's
going to be
gonna be
so much
sweet.
better than Ridiculous Six.
yeah. Stay tuned for the next exciting episode.
Cool.
Bye. What does Vaughn usually say? Smell you later.
Thanks, Josh, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I could sub in for old Vonner. Thanks for making the trip with me down to the old West.
Check him out on the Pink and Black Playback.
And look who's Siskel and Ebert now. Check me out there. Coming up with some new stuff there in the next little while, so look out.
You'll be going over the Siskel and Ebert's best donkey diarrhea movies of 1992.
I'm sure there's a lot, actually, so tune in next week.
All right, later, Peckerwoods.
Adios, amigos.